better when you guys are live because you can participate to the Q&As that we do after each step. So let me make sure that, okay. Excellent. Okay, so why don't we do a quick 1-minute intro, and you guys quickly tell where you're from, what you're doing, and why don't we start with you, Gordon?
Sure. Yep. Gordon Bennett from Annapolis. I see Ian on here. I know Ian, we used to work together over at Annapolis Yacht Sales for a brief amount of time. Yep. CPYB for the last year or so, 6 years in. Done your courses before and had success with them. So looking forward to seeing what we have to offer today.
Excellent. Thanks. Ian?
Yeah, just like Gordon said, in Annapolis, actually in Baltimore right now at our main office. But yeah, I think I first did one of your things in right when COVID started.
Oh, okay, it was COVID, yeah.
Trying to figure that out. But yeah, it's been pretty good. But just looking to see kind of how things need to get revamped as we kind of start getting towards this after COVID type of market.
Excellent. Simon?
Hi guys. I'm Simon, and I don't know why my video is not working. Anyway, I used to be the audio is working.
Yeah, audio is working.
Okay, and I used to be a yacht captain for 15 years. Then I started working marketing in the yacht industry since 2009, 2010, and yeah, so I'm here to learn more.
Yeah, Simon also still working with my old business partner Cornelius, so he's helping selling some big boats. He's working in marketing there, so I thought it would be good for him to join also this class. So that's good. So guys, we're going to, the way this workshop is going to be structured is we're going to have 8 steps. We'll have a quick intro, a few minutes. I want to wrap it up fast, the intro, and then we have 8 steps to high performance in boat sales. That's what I like about this training is pretty much every hour is going to be dedicated to each of the steps. After, I'm going to share usually around 40 minutes of strategies that you guys can implement. Then we'll have a little Q&A, and then we move on. Okay, those are big trainings, 4 hours today, 4 hours tomorrow. So we take little breaks. Usually every hour or so, I try to have a little break, like 5 minutes. We can go for coffee, we can go pee quick, whatever, and get some water and or get a quick snack. That way we can continue with high energy. This is about results. I really want you guys to get results. So I'm very excited. And the first thing I want to share, I'm very grateful you guys are here. I know all of you guys are live. Some of the people right now, we have 2 students that are watching the recorded session. Usually after that, we'll always have a couple more students that are enjoying the recording, that are joining the recording. But I'm very grateful that you guys are signing up. So we are going to start this pre-transformation, right? You didn't invest in a course, you didn't invest in me, you invested in results. And this is what this is about. This is going to be about result. But in order to excel in sales, we need to excel in life. I kind of like to have this holistic approach, right? The first thing you need to understand that everything a top producer can do can be delegated except one thing. And that one thing is closing, right? So this is also very closing oriented training, very result oriented. Sales performance is not just CRM, follow-up, email marketing, and all that stuff. It's the whole thing, right? In order to excel in sales, we need to excel in life. We don't have sales problem, we have personal problem that are reflected in our sales. So sales performance is more personal than it is about sales itself. Someone asked me, how was your weekend this weekend? Actually, my assistant, she asked me yesterday morning, she's like, how was your weekend? And I'm like, well, you know, I'm trying to use there's a quote that I came across last year that I really liked. And it's, instead of using your weekend to escape the life you don't want, use your weekend to build the life you want. right? And people tend to use their evening and their weekend to escape the life they don't want. So they will arrive home and they will get some wine going or beer and be like, oh, I had a hard day. I need to cool down. And the weekend, they'll be like, oh, let's go drinking with friends or whatever, right? And they escape the life they don't want. But instead of that, I really want you guys to get in the philosophy, like we're going to have to get to work and we're going to take maybe the evening, the morning, the weekends to build the real life we want. That's what sales is about, right? Like constant improvement. So quick intro, one slide or two. I mean, I've been involved in this industry for so long now. That was me in 2019 doing the Riva Worldwide Dealer Meeting. I've been involved in over 3,300 boat and yacht marketing projects, small boat, big yacht, super yacht. I've trained now close to 5,000 sales pro with all of free training program, and we've got close to 900 students enrolled in our program. Right, just last week I was training, for instance, Gordon was here, we did the Seattle yacht, there were 30 brokers. Yesterday I trained another dealership in Australia, there were 12 brokers. So I constantly do that. I love that. Now I've learned a lot of things along the way, and I've done a lot of things. I spent a lot of money in training. I read close to 1,000 books. I've done tons of training. I've gone to a lot of boat shows. Again, I'm not sharing this to brag, but this is to establish my credibility, someone you can trust to, and someone that is available for you to relay the best stuff that I found. I'm not saying I'm a guru. I would never say I'm a guru, but I'm kind of like a messenger and a student, right? And I'm not here to teach. I'm here to make you sell boat. That's really what I want you guys to understand. I'm here to make you sell boat. This is not about teaching, right? Information is free nowadays. You got Chat GPT, you got internet, you got all, but I'm here to really help you sell boat. Another thing, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to tell the truth, right? I'm not here like, oh, let's protect them. Let's be nice to them. Let's not have any friction. I'm sure you have a lot of people that tell you how great, wonderful you are. Sometimes you need to hear the truth. And I see a lot of sales trainers that want to be liked. Me, it's not my mission. My mission is just like, hey, look, let's share the blatant truth and let's move forward here. Another thing I think quite important mentioning is like, I've been in the same place as you, right? I've been frustrated. I've been sleeping at night, had my little pillow talk about what can I do to improve my sales? What can I do to get more listings? What I can, is my sales going to close tomorrow? I've been there. So quickly, when I was 15 years old, I found this little engine right here in my dad's garage. So I called my best buddy and I'm like, dude, you can't believe what I found. He's like, what you found? I'm like, I found this little 4 horsepower air-cooled outboard engine. So I'm like, let's put $50 each. We buy a little boat. That was our first boat. That was my sister here. Our first boat. Then I found in my dad, I found some free orange paint. So it was just like, you know, the rough stuff, but that was my first little boat. And I went with my best friend and I loved it. We had a couple of beer, you know, it was like, wow, boating equal freedom, equal lifestyle. And I started flipping boats. So then we sold it. At Christmas, we bought another one. And from 15 to 24, I had 12 boats. And they allowed me to travel the world for 18 months. I had 3 boats left. I told my best friend, sell 1 boat every 6 months. It wasn't a lot of money. They were like, you know, $5,000-$6,000 boat. But when you were like 18, you know, you got like 10K, something like this, you can do significant travel. That was back in 2005. So I did the backpacking around the world for 1.5 years, and I ended up in Canada, where I came here. And when I came here, I had a master in event management, but I didn't want, my English wasn't good enough. So I worked in the boating field. I worked in a boat ship chandler. Then I worked at the boat manufacturing company. Eventually I became a broker. And oh boy, it was hard, right? It was like super hard. I remember I was really struggling. I was just working so hard. I was on the phone with people. They couldn't understand me. A dictionary because people were emailing me stuff I couldn't understand. It was like so hard. And I remember one time I hit rock bottom. I'm like, seriously, like how much money can you make to live, right? Like, but I worked so hard, and eventually I sold. I listed a couple yachts, right? And but what's the hardest is when you list yachts, but you're not making any money because you're trying to play with the big boys, but you don't have you can't even pay a coffee to your customer. But eventually I worked so hard and I sold 2 yachts in the same like time frame, 65 feet, 80 feet. That was awesome. The 80 feet was a record commission, I remember, in a brokerage company. And the feeling was so good. And I want you guys to remember the feeling, like when you were the most proud, when you saw that big boat and that deal you really wanted. This is a feeling we're going to try to recreate in that class, right? That's really what I want. I really want to help you guys keep recreating over and over this great feeling, right? And so I told myself I'm not going through that this hard time again. And that's when I literally went on a mission, and I ended up reading a book, and the book was like talking about, I think it was called like the Automotive University or something. Like, if during the day when you commute, if you start reading book, well, you're going to be smarter than 90% of the rest of the people because nobody read book. And then the second book, the guy was like talking about you need to read a book 6 times to remember 60% of the things. So I started like reading crazy. And that's really when I fell in love with learning, right? And I really went on a mission to crack the code of boat sales. I went into marketing. I became obsessed with learning how to sell more, and since then, I spent thousands of hours gathering the best info, techniques, and method. And that's why I'm so excited today, right? Because I went all around the world last 15 years, the boat show, Miami Boat Show a few weeks ago. And I've done that. I think it was my 15th Miami Boat Show, right? So not just boat show, I'm going to brokerage, I was selling boats, I went to dealer meetings. And when I go to a dealer meeting, when I hear that the guy, the top salesman, I would try to make friends with him and ask them a few questions when there was a little reception, and ask them, what do you do that works? What do you do differently, right? And that's why I'm excited, because I want to share that with you guys. I've also been into boat sales, back into boat sales after many years. We sold quite a few big boats, and Simon also was doing some marketing for us, help us to sell some of those big boats here. So I'm grateful he's here. So I've had some difficult time, because when I was selling boats also, it wasn't a market that was really active, right? Not like it was over the last 2 or 3 years with COVID, but I've got some good results. And this is why I'm excited, because I learned the hard way. And in this training, I want to give it all to you guys. And some of you have already seen my training before, but when you see it, as I told you, when you read something 6 times, you remember 60% of the time, right? So you want to take the training a couple times. So some of the things are new, some of the things you already seen, but I know it's going to be so valuable for you guys. And that's why I'm very excited. Now, the market is changing fast, guys. And if you don't adapt right now, this is going to go the way of the taxis, the roadmap, or the telephone booths, right? There is an exponential adoption of online e-commerce, like that hockey stick effect we've seen in 2020, and it keeps going, especially right now with ChatGPT and stuff. Things are going online absolutely crazy. So we are, and I talk about this a lot, we are in the boat sales 3.0 era, right? So we have 3 era in boat sales 1.0, which was end of 2000 to 2008. Boat sales 2.0, 2008 to 2020. And you guys have been successful in the boat sales 2.0 era, right? And now there are going to be some brokers, some young brokers that you don't know, are going to be freaking successful in boat sales 3.0 era. But I want you guys to be very successful to ride that second wave, because you're going to have another wave of brokers going to be successful. Why? Because they're going to adapt to the way of boats are being sold today. We're all right here right now. You can see how I accelerate the online adoption. So knowing these trends, you can become deadly. Now, if you don't know them, you're also it's going to be an unfair advantage for the people that know compared to the people that don't, right? If you don't know them, if you don't adapt them, it's going to be very difficult. So I want you to imagine that you know those trends, you're using these trends, and that's where you're going to get the results. So what impact, what change is going to bring in your life? And you guys have reached some sort of success, right? In what you've been doing. You've been traveling around the world, you've been making more money, you've been providing for your family. That brought you a lot of joy, a lot of pleasure. But what if we ride another wave and we continue? And what are the next things you're going to do? You know, maybe it's giving more, maybe it's you know, having more fun, or preparing the future for your kids, right? Like, why you need to ask yourself why you want to do this. But it will only work if you take full responsibility. Life is 10% what happened to you, 90% how you react to it. We're going to have hard time against too. Hard time ahead too. There is no question about it, right? And I want to prepare you guys for this hard time. Because when the market change, when we're going to the seller market to buyer market, I want you guys to feel, oh, fuck, I'm so ready for that. Oh, bring it on, right? Bring it on. I've been waiting for that. I'm going to show these other brokers who's ready. That's what I want. Because the majority of the sales pro have been order takers over the last couple of years. But I want you guys to be hungry, to be motivated, and to know exactly what to do. So we're going to use this transfer. And I know I'm not even going to talk about that because I know you guys are good people. You're not going to use for negative intent. So I'm even going to skip that slide. But we're going to start this transformation. And sometime in a transformation, we can see from it can be the same material. You might have seen like a bar of iron can cost that much, but if you transform into this, it costs that much. If you transform into this, it costs that much. Or if you transform into spring into Rolex, it will cost $1 million. Or a bottle of water. If on the street there's a homeless selling to you, it's 50 cents. At the theater is maybe $5. In an airplane is $7. And at the biggest nightclub in Monte Carlo is $12. So it's the same bottle of water, but depending where you are, the value is going to go up. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go through this transformation. And just like diamond, there's different stages. We're going to have different stages, right? So what is the stage going to be? Well, essentially, there's 4 stages that we're going to go through. Number 1, the right mindset. I know some brokers, I'm friends with brokers that are successful, like, oh my gosh, those guys, everything they touch transform into commission. Like Alex Clark, Sean Fennyman, those guys, they're ridiculous amount of money in commission. I know a broker makes $750 million in sales last year, a $750 million, right? Now, those guys have the right mindset. You need to have the right mindset. Then you need to have the right skill set. Then the right tool set, use the right proper tools, right? And then support. And support in the sense can be like training, constantly training, right? And if you remember, both sales 3.0, the market is going up. So it's going to require for you guys to constantly say, hey, look, I need to up my game here. I need to train more. So first you learn, then we're going to remove the L, right? Like it's always like this. First you're going to know. So what is the 4th stage? Very quickly, 4th stage of transformation. Number 1, the right mindset. I met this guy, very inspirational, a billionaire, John Paul. He was sleeping in a car and then he ended up becoming a billionaire, right? And I asked him, it was at the Miami Boat Show, what's the one thing that helped you to become who you are today? And he said mindset. I thought it was really interesting. You've got to win in your mind before you've got to win in life, right? You've got to win in your mind before you win in life. Very important. Number 2, skill set. Skill set can really, just like a proper mindset, the proper skill set can really help you, push you forward. You remember when you used to play video game, maybe a few years ago, the cheat code, you were doing 2 time up, 2 time down, 2 time right, left, and boom, suddenly you got this superpower. That's the power of knowing how to do things properly. Then the right tool set. We're going to talk about this. I'm going to suggest with you some tools that are really powerful, really good, right? And then the right training. The key to success is confidence. The key to confidence is preparation. So I don't want you just to do this training and say, okay, I'm set for the next 5 years. No, I want you to always being willing to learn about ChatGPT, learn about email, learn about client communication, learn about this, always being curious, learn about the product, learn about the shipyard, learn about the electronics, right? And I really want you to commit, right? The difference between commitment and involvement, well, it's the chicken and egg, right? The chicken is involved in your morning breakfast, but the pig has been committed, full commitment. That's the difference. Okay, we really need to commit, and sometime we're going to take it step by step at your own pace. If you take a car at night, you go from one side of the state to the other side of the state, you cannot see completely on the other side. You just can see 50 meters ahead, or 50 feet or 100 feet ahead, right? And that's going to be our step. It's the same in business. You don't want to see too far ahead, but you always want to see a little bit further. Use your evening and use your weekend to build the life you want instead of escape the life you don't want. So sales is like martial art. If you want to master it, you don't necessarily, we're not going to learn a million things in that class. That's what I'm excited. Yesterday, actually, I recorded a YouTube video, which was a summary of this class. And I'm like, wow, actually, I like it because we don't see a million things. We see a few things of each steps, but those few things need to be really mastered. I think it was like Bruce Lee said, I do not fear the man who has 1,000 kicks, but I fear the man who has one kick practiced 1,000 times. Right. So the framework, we're going to focus on leads, listings, and leverage, essentially. The 3L formula, right? Listings, I'm going to help you get a lot of listing. I'm going to help you leads. And this, why? Because we're switching to the buyer's market. You're going to need to be strong in lead generation. So you're going to love this one, training leads, because I'm not just going to help you to get leads. I'm going to help you get the philosophy of getting leads. You're going to see like, oh my gosh, I understand now. And all your career, you're going to be able to get leads. And then leverage is because of the right mindset, the right tool, the right skill set, we will have more leverage on leads and listings. So that's a program for today. We're going to talk about mindset and objective, personal branding. This is very good for you guys. Getting listings. We're going to talk about, I think, 21 strategies to get listings. And then we'll talk about content creation. Content creation, I'm going to give you a 365 days content calendar. I'm going to give you 260 different type of posts ready to go. So I'm really going to help you a lot today. I'm very excited for that. So, and then tomorrow we'll do getting leads, showings and salesmanship, follow-up and closing, and client retention and referrals. That's my maybe 5th time I doing this training, like the 5th month. And on average, we have 6 students, right, per class. So we got close to 30 students that took this 8-class program. And it's funny because all of them will be like, oh, that's my favorite. Oh, that's my favorite. That's my favorite. That's my favorite. So depending on what you're looking for, you will find your favorite. But I put a lot of effort in all of them, and you'll be happy with all of them. Any quick question before we get started with mindset? I'm excited we finish our intro. So now, any quick question before we get started with mindset? No, we good?
Yeah. Hey, Vincent, I saw you were recording this. Are you going to be forwarding a copy of it to us?
Yes, all of you guys will have access to all the material and all the recordings.
Perfect. Thank you.
So, yeah. So that's, yeah. And the idea, and that's a great you ask this question. The idea, guys, is like this training, it's going to be divided into 8 steps, and you're going to have all the material and recording. So I want you to put it in a folder or something and regularly go into it. And if tomorrow you need leads, say, oh, step number 5, leads. You need listing, step number 3, listings, right? And you go back to the video, you take a notepad and you write notes, or you copy and paste the newsletter, the text message you send clients, and get the result. It's like a vault. I want you to imagine this training as a vault for the boat sales professional. You need content, great. Step number 4, content. I'm going there. I got all my templates, everything. So number 1, let's get started. Mindset in boat sales. Mindset. Some people think that mindset is cheesy and stuff, but I think it's always good to go back to mindset. Right? Like mindset is like shower. It's not something that lasts. That's why you got to do it every day. So I I want to talk to you about this experiment. It's a brutal experiment study from Harvard University from the 50s. Dr. I think his name was Kurt Richer. And he kind of like, it was a little bit controversial experiment because it was kind of cruel, but it was very powerful experiment. He wanted to understand what was motivating people to really give themselves maximum. So he put rat in a little bucket of water, and he will see how long the rat it will take to sink. And he realized that on average, it takes 15 minutes for the rat to sink, right? And die. So it's kind of sad. So he tried with like, you know, quite a few rats. And on average, it was like 15 minutes and all the rats, boom, 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 between, you know, 10 to 19 minutes. The average was around 15 minutes, all of them dead. And I said, okay, I'm going to try a little experiment here. And he put the rat back into the bucket and he's observing the rats very closely. And just before he sinks, they're gonna sink. So between the 10 to 19 minutes mark, just like 1 or 2 minutes before, he take them off and put them for 45 seconds off. Let them rest for 45 seconds on outside the bucket. And then he put them back. In this second variation, how long do you think the rat would survive? Right? Well, not an extra 15 minutes, not an extra 1 hour, not an extra 5 hours, not an extra 10 hours, not an extra 30, 40, but 60 hours. 60 hours in this second variation. This is absolutely mind-blowing. And this is a power of belief. Right? And belief is part of mindset. This is why this is so important. This is why that can be the game changing for you guys. Here's a phone booth here. Why I have this little phone booth when I talk about mindset? Because those brokers that I know, the brokers that made $750,000 last year, or Sean Fenman, or Alex Clark, if I would go to see them and say, hey, here's some quarter here, next year, the only thing you can do is use payphone, I know they will still have 7-figure in commission, those guys, because they have the right mindset. So it's not about the strategy, it's not about the tools, no, they have the right mindset, right? So it comes number one. We can really see it when you compare the animal words to the human words. I was reading this book from Stephen Kotler, very interesting author, very interesting book, and he was talking about the rise in performance, right? The rise in performance, and talk about the theory of flow, which originally come from like Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, talk about the theory of flow and how people now like they have ridiculous performance. It's like, let me talk to you about a surfer, for instance. In the 90s, they were riding around 25, 30 feet waves. Today, they ride 150 feet wave, like exponential growth. If you look at Red Bull, the performance of those riders, like it's the growth in the human performance over the last 20, 30 years has been phenomenal. But if you look in the animal world, you look at this horse, he won the Triple Crown, Secretaria in the 70s. This horse, if he was still running today, it will still be the winner by far. So why the animal worlds, the cheetah is still running at the same pace as it was running in the 90s as today's, or Secretariat is even faster, but why human performance is exponentially growing? Mindset, right? And that's what we're going to learn today, because I can help you really improve your performance if you improve your mindset. You can help yourself actually, right? So we're going to look at a few little things for mindset, actually 5 points, and then I want to talk about sales mindset, which I think is very important. And then we'll do a few exercises. Very quickly, if you exercise, I'll give you the form. You can do it for you on your own. Number one, mindset foundation. The number one thing you want to have is vision. Vision. Start with the end in mind. That's why I have a compass on my desk. Remind me of vision, right? So if I take the world champion of archery and I blindfold them and I will compete against them. They're still the world champion of archery. I will beat them, most likely. I will beat them. Why? Because they don't see the target, right? Vision, half of your brain is dedicated to the interpretation of vision. So vision is very important. If you look at an autopilot in a boat, it works for two reasons: action and vision. It keeps a cap and always work to keeping the cap, right? Action on the rudder, but always keeping the cap. Vision. You remove the vision, there's no autopilot. So that's the number one thing we need, vision. Do you guys have a vision? I'm going to help you define a vision today, right? Number two, conditioning. That's a problem. We have been conditioned to think that money is something bad. And the good, we've been conditioned to think that, you know, like money is the root of all evil. That Robin Hood, he was taking from the rich, giving back from the poor, right? You're going, some people say, oh, I just want to go for a walk in nature. I'm just going to go for, I just like yoga and tea and things. But even if you want to go for a walk in nature with your yoga pants, you need money to build the road. You need money to put the yoga pant, right? So money is necessary. And money is not bad. Money is needed. So, and a lot of people have the wrong conditioning. It goes back to when you were a child. Your parents were telling you, only rich people make money. You need money to make money. So you need to have the right conditioning. If you don't, read a book about it. So ask yourself this question. There is a great book. It's called The Psychology of Money. I read it a few months ago. It was quite good. And it kind of helps you to get away this wrong conditioning about money. If you would divide the wealth in the world right now, we take all the money in the world, we give it all to equally to all the people in the world. Within 5 years, the people that have the money now will have the money again. Why? Because it's not about the money, it's about the mindset, right? So it's legacy versus currency, right? People tend to think that it's bad to think about money, to show money, but like money, this guy, Floyd Mayweather, for instance, is always showing money, but for him, he's getting paid to punch. Every time he's throwing a punch, he's making money. So for him, this money is a visual representation of what he's trying to achieve. He's a big mindset guy. He's not an idiot, right? So he's a GOAT and one of the richest athletes in history. Why? Because he's got the right money mindset. Number three, this is huge, guys, practicing gratitude. Gratitude, the word appreciate has two meanings. Compliment, right? But also growth. So appreciation is also will help you to grow. So when you take the habit of telling people you appreciate themselves. Next time you go on Uber, look at them and say, you know what, I really appreciate you doing today. Last time I went to pick up food, this lady was, cooking food for the family, and I pick up food and I say, you know what, I really appreciate what you're doing. Like cooking for food like this for us, when we have this ready-made meal, it makes a big difference in our family, and you help us a lot. I really appreciate. Or when my cleaner was coming clean the house, I'd be like, you know what, I really appreciate you cleaning the house. When I come back from work and I see the house clean, really appreciate. Tell people you appreciate what they're doing. The surveyor, the crew on board, the captain. Like without you, I couldn't sail this boat. I couldn't have it ready. I really appreciate the work you're doing. And I'm going through a lot of boats, and yours is always cleaner than the other guys. I really appreciate you, right? So this is very important for you to realize that gratitude will have in all aspects of your life. Know your why. Know your why. Know your why. This is critical. Your vision, right? So for me, I told you boating changed my life. I have my little sign here, boating changed my life. And I want to help other people change their life through the passion of boating. That's my why. Boating allowed me to travel the world, to do what I want, make money I want, things like this. So now my goal, my why is to help other people improve their life through the passion of boating. There is this great book, Selling with Noble Purpose, from Lisa McLeod. She studied 35,000 sales professionals. She found one point common amongst top performers. What it was, they had a strong why. So very important. Train your mindset. The strengths of your mindset will determine your success, right? So it's what I was telling you. The weekend, use the weekend, use the evening. We don't rise to the level of our expectation. We fall to the level of our training. That's a Navy SEAL quote that I absolutely love. You're going to have to up your game, guys. I know. And that's good. Or we are not the highest version of yourself we can imagine. We're the lowest version of ourselves which we can accept. Our standard define us, not our dream. Not motivation, not dream, but standard. Show me your standard, I show you your future. So what you want to do in developing your standard is you want to develop that Keynesian philosophy, like always a little bit better. That's my favorite motivational quote. It's actually a mathematical formula. 1.01 to the power 365 gives you 37.1. 1.99 to the power 365, 0.03. Just this morning, I was thinking about it. I'm like, what can I do today? Like just a small one thing. Take one little vitamin, read 5 minutes and say, that will help me improve 1%. As Abraham Lincoln said, we can complain because rose bushes have thorns or rejoice because thorn bushes have roses, right? Try to see the positive a little bit more every day, every day. I want to share quickly a personal story. Actually, I'll tell you at the end when we do the exercise. I'm going to write it down. So personal story. Okay, I'll share that with you in a few minutes. Let's continue. So now we got the mindset, right? We start to have the fundamentals of mindset, right? The vision, the why, the conditioning, very, very important. Next, I want you to understand the brain, because if you can't understand the brain, it's going to be very difficult to understand how to improve your mindset. Your brain is the enemy. Your brain is wired against you. There is something called negative bias. It's a protective mechanism, basically. Your brain is wired to do two things and two things only. Number one, to survive. Number two, to save energy. So when we were cavemen, you get out of the cave. On the left, you have a little flower. On the right, you have a lion. If you want to pay attention on the flower, the lion will have jumped you, the lion behind the bushes, right? So you are pre-programmed. If there's a little noise in the bush, even if it's a beautiful little bird, you're just going to think it's danger. So your brain will always look at the negative. Develop awareness to life-threatening risk in response to life-threatening risk. So the human brain is around 3 pounds and is so powerful. And a lot of people don't know how powerful our brain is. Our brain regulates all our neurological activities and is made of 1,000 trillion connections. There is more connection in your brain than pieces of sense all around the world. This is absolutely crazy. And because we don't believe in ourselves, we don't believe in it, we just don't have the capacity that we should have, right? We don't run the capacity that we should. Your brain is playing against you, as I told you. Motivation is garbage. You will never feel like doing things. You will never feel like doing the right thing for you because your brain has a protective mechanism. Should I go to the gym or should I eat that ice cream? The brain is going to tell you, eat that ice cream. What if you get out of the house, it's getting cold, you need a lot of energy for it, right? What if there is a tiger running after you? You need to be fed well so you can run further. Your brain will always, you need to rest too, right? So in case there is a danger, you can run faster. You're rested, so don't go to the gym. Your brain will always push you to do the things. So that's why this lady, Mel Robbins, wrote this book called The 5-Second Rules. The moment you have an impulse to act on a goal, you must push yourself or move within 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. It's a great book. It's called The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. If you don't want to read the book, watch a TED Talk. Definitely recommend it. She wrote another book about I don't remember the title, but I read it 2 years ago. It was cool. It's about high-fiving yourself in the mirror every morning. So you go in the morning in the mirror and you high-five yourself. And it really gives you this appreciation of yourself. Like, that was pretty good. Next, understanding the concept of duality. So this is a little bit more sophisticated, I would say, but I think it's really important for you to understand. Duality is our mind, is a way we understand things. The human brain can understand things only to compare it with its opposite. Everything we do, we think, we experience is part of a duality. North Pole, South Pole, positive, negative, cold, hot, good, bad, right? Day, night, rich, poor, fast, slow, wide, thin. Everything is part of a duality. So our reality is the information we get, the perception we create based on our duality, like what we know, and decision. Every piece of information we receive is processed based on this duality principle. Now, there is an interesting piece of a study that's been done. They took a coal and they bring it closer and closer to the patient's skin. And just before it touched the patient's skin, they replace the coal by an ice cube and they touch the skin with an ice cube. The patient had third-degree burn because of the perception. They thought it was a coal and they still have the third-degree burn. So our perception or belief forms our reality. So who you are, the only way our mind understands something is to understand its opposite, right? So who you are, it's not who you are, it's who you are becoming. Because your identity is the sum of the judgment that you made. Because every time you make a judgment, it will help you give you an idea of who you are. When you judge another, you do not define them, you define yourself. This is very important, right? Judgment is usually a reflection of our own insecurity. I judge this person because I have an own insecurity. Sometimes when I don't like someone, and in my life, I'm usually very cool guy. Like I like most of the people I would say 99.9% of the people I will meet, I will like. But maybe a couple of celebrities I will not like or something like that. And sometimes I catch myself when I say I don't like this celebrity. I'm like, why you don't like about them? Usually it's a reflection of something is wrong with me that I need to work on. So it's very interesting, right? So the only way to be wrong is to fail and to choose a side. Everything in our universe is forever changing, moving, evolving. Identity is the enemy. If you want to change, you need to become a different person, because dualism is a cause of a conflict. So current self, if you want to become a different person, the problem is you're going to stick to your root. You're going to be yourself. You're going to be real, be authentic. Don't be who you are, and don't forget who you are. Don't forget where you came from. People keep telling you this. Don't worry. Don't forget who you are. Basically, they're telling you, don't worry. Don't make any effort to become better. Just stay who you are, right? So it's hard to change when you don't take that in consideration. Number 4, your environment. One of the easiest way to become successful is to surround yourself with motivated and successful people. When I sold my first $1 million yacht, I became friends with the owner. Within 18 months, I had a worldwide company with clients in the 5 continents. Within 18 months. Now, the guy didn't even help me, didn't give me any contact or anything. It's just hanging out with him, hearing him, sharing his stories of walking around the world, because he had a company, he was doing business all around the world. And I told myself, I also want to work all around the world, right? So show me your friends, I'll show you your future. You're the average of the 5 person you hang out the most with, or you make as much as 5 people you hang out the most with. We've learned about the crab pot theory. When people pull you down, people that love you, unconsciously, they will want to pull you down. Metaphorically, it's a metaphorical theory in psychology used in reference to people who try to pull you down. Because when your crab is trying to get off of a pot, the other crab are pulling it down. So don't be afraid to end relationship if they don't bring any positivity in your life. But it's not just your physical environment, it's also your mental environment. So mental environment, there's a book that I like, it's The Art of War, and Sun Tzu said, when you so Sun Tzu was a general in the old Chinese time, and he summarized all those great philosophies of wars that you can use to become a better human too, and better leader. And he said, when you surround an army, always leave an outlet free. Do not press a desperate foe too hard. What it means is like when you surround an enemy army, don't fully encircle the enemy. Because if you fully encircle the enemies, you're going to fight until with the energy of despair. And once you have the energy of despair, you're going to be like, we're going to fight until the last breath. We're going to fight until the last children, the last woman. They're going to give it all. Right? So what does he say? He said, always leave a little outlet free so you create internal turmoil. Some soldier is like, we need to leave. Some soldier, we need to stay. Let's evacuate all the children. Let's evacuate all the women. Oh, yeah, but I want to go too. If my wife go, I want to go. And then you create a chaos. Then it's so much easier to fight the army. But when you have the energy of despair, it's like the Viking were using when they say the general of the Viking burned the boat. And then if you burn the boat, then you cannot go home until you capture the enemy army and will take their boats. So there is no plan. I read a great book from an NHL player, and it's called Bo Eason, and he said there is no plan B for your A game. And it's kind of like this philosophy. Your mental thought, if you give yourself plan B, well, guess what? You're not going to succeed. Your workspace too needs to be something that inspires you, right? Like I'll give you an example. In my workspace, I have this, my vision board. I have here my focus sign because it's very important. I identified that was the most important thing for me. I have some things that inspire me, like Wally is one of my latest clients. It took me 11 years to get as a client. So I wanted to buy myself a Wally maquette, another nice Mangusta boat that we sold, right? I want to have a Riva here because I was really happy to work for Riva, one of the most famous shipyards in the world. So I have an environment that really inspires me. It's really important that you have an environment that inspires you too, right? So number 5, we'll continue on mindset. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're almost finished for mindset. Fear of failure and rejection. We are all born with absolutely no fear of failure. The fear of failure is something that we are developing ourselves along the way in our life. When you're young, you learn how to walk. You keep failing. Your parents cheering for you. Yeah. Then eventually, you learn how to walk. Great. You learn how to walk. The only reason you walk is because of failure. And learning how to walk, it's a huge achievement, right? Like, it took you a lot of hours, hundreds and hundreds of hours. But then along the way, you go to school and you got a bad mark and you go home and you tell your parents and they're like, oh, they don't like, yeah, let's try again. No, the teacher and parents tell you, no good. So we start to develop that fear of failure. And by the time we are a teenager, I think we hear 5,000 times, yes, you can, 150,000 times, no, you can't. So like we hate rejection, right? But the more you want to have sales, the more you're going to be willing to get failure. Sometimes what I like you to imagine is the complete opposite, complete chaos, right? What's the best way to find a needle in a haystack is actually to burn the hay. So completely imagine a scenario where there is nothing left. So sometimes I'm trying to ask myself like, hey, let's imagine that ChatGPT came and is so powerful and nobody can sell boat anymore because ChatGPT will sell all the boats. What would be the last few brokers that would survive? What would they be doing? So I force myself to imagine a complete scenario that is bad, but then I'm trying to find a solution. Acceptance of discomfort. I like to say, if you're not uncomfortable improving your boat sales, then you're doing something wrong, right? Because a lobster, when it grows, it goes beneath a rock and it suffers a lot, and eventually let go the old shell to a new shell. But the lobster cannot grow without this period of discomfort, right? So we have to accept failure and we have to accept discomfort. And you know what else we have to accept? Going back, walking backward. Sometimes we're going to go forward and then we're going to go backward. My stepdad climbed the Everest. He told me, you don't actually go up to the Everest right away. I'm like, why? He's like, well, you got to go back. I'm like, what do you mean go back? He's like, yeah, you go to Camp 1, you stay a few days, and then you go to camp 2, and then you go back to camp 1. I'm like, why you go back? It's like, well, you got to be acclimated. And then you go to camp 3, back to camp 2, camp 4, back to camp 3, and then you go to summit and you go down. And then it's like, you know, where most of the people die when they go to Everest is on the way back. I thought it was interesting too, right? So going back is very important. No one has ever won a game of chess by just going forward, right? So you're going to feel sometimes, especially maybe during this training, if there are some new things you want to implement, sometimes it works, sometimes like, it didn't work, but you need to go backward to go forward. But most of the time you'll go forward. So now let's talk about mindset in sales. I want you to understand that sales is the most second-hated profession in America. And that's sad to me, because that the general public don't like sales. Okay, fine. You know, Wolf of Wall Street, you don't like that. You don't like the sleazy car salesman. Okay, fine. But what is sad to me is that salesmen themselves don't like sales. People that are in sales are telling me I don't like sales. I mean, come on, right? If it wasn't for sales, nothing around you would be existing. We would still be cavemen. The only reason you live in this new society is about sales. You have the most important job out there. I couldn't talk to you in this webcam. I couldn't see my screen. I couldn't see my slide. Couldn't have my clothes. Couldn't see you. You couldn't have a screen. You wouldn't have a chair. You wouldn't have a desk. You wouldn't have an office. You wouldn't have a company. Everything around you is here because sales. Sales is like oxygen. You remove it, there is nothing else, right? We have the most powerful, the most beautiful profession out there. Yet so many people are not accepting it. So embrace it, love it, be proud of it. Ask and it shall be given. Seek and you will find, and knock and it shall open. So number one, be proud of sales, and you know that you need to ask for the sale, right? Number two, sales is unfair. There is no silver medal in both sales. You either go for gold or you go home. There is no reward for second place in sales. That's a law of winning age, right? Disproportion for the reward and for the effort. You don't win it. So you see this horse, that's number one, is going to win $1 million. Number two is going to win maybe 200K. Number three is going to win 100K, and then nothing. But this guy is not 100 times better than number four, but he's going to get 1,000 times more price, right? It's very unfair. No silver medal in both sales. Number three is the easiest way to learn how to sell. So sometimes people say, you're a sales trainer, and I have 1 minute to teach them something, right? Like, what can you tell me to become better at sales? I don't even touch sales. I'm like, if you want to be a better salesman, better in sales, learn how to buy better. It's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, those who are afraid to buy are always afraid to sell. When you're buying something, you got to be a good buyer. When I bought this house, I have a new house here. I saw the house. Within 5 minutes, I pulled out of the road. I called my realtor. I'm like, I'll buy this house. There were like 4, 5, or 6 offers or something. I put my condition. Luckily, I got it. And but I was a good buyer, right? And when I buy a house, when I buy a car, when I buy a boat, whatever I buy, when I buy plane tickets, I don't question myself. Boom, I go for it. Because if I want to be good in sales, I need to be a good buyer first. The easiest way to learn how to receive more money is learning by how to give more money, right? You cannot receive money if you're not willing to give money. There is this Chinese billionaire. He's got a concept called arigato, which is be willing to give and it'll be easier for you to come back. So now what I do is every time I spend money, I'm always grateful for the money that I get. If I go to Starbucks, I tap my card to get a coffee, I close my eyes, and I'm grateful for the money that I give, and I hope it's going to do good, right? And usually it's always easier for money to come back to me. Don't be affected by the sales reset. What's a sales reset? Well, the sales reset is a problem we have in the boating industry because you can make 100 grand in commission, 50K in commission. Guess what? On the first of the month, you're back to zero. You go, oh, I gotta work again, right? Always back to zero. You go back to the goal, but you do not collect your salary. You constantly, and some people, it's like a thermostat. They sell a boat and then they are down for many, many, many months, and then they're up, they sell a boat, they are down. No, the top performers are just always going. They don't have that thermostat. And number 5, 6, 5, fix your life to fix your sales. So you got to fix your life in order to fix your sales. What do I mean by this? If you don't want to invest in yourself, people will not invest in you. If you take forever to make decision, you will attract indecisive clients. If you're cheap when you buy things, you will most likely attract clients who ask for discount. So now let's do a few exercises. So we're done with the mindset, right? And what I want you to do, when I'm going to give you the replay, is regularly look at it. Maybe once every 2 months, say, hey, you know what? I'm going to look at the mindset, quick training, like, where am I standing here? What is my weakness? My money conditioning is still bad. Let's pick up a book about mindset. Because I'm not saying like everything you see here in this mindset, you're going to have a perfect mindset. It's for me, it's like giving you like, hey, those are the essential things you need to work on your mindset. If that works, if I inspire you enough, that's good. But if not, pick up a book, listen to a motivational speaker or something. And so always try to have a top mindset. So exercise. Define your why, your where, and your how. Very important. So define your why, your where, and your how. So define your why, right? Define your where you want to go. And your how is like, what are the essential things you want to do on a daily basis? So let me give you an example. I was talking to a friend broker, very good broker from Allied Marine. And I was talking about his why. He says, that's my why. He said, you want to know my why? He's like, I send you a quote and you WhatsApp me this quote. And I thought that was beautiful. See, I really don't know why it's that all of us are committed to the sea, except I think it's because in addition to the fact that the sea changed and the light changed and ship changed, because we all came from the sea. And it's an interesting biological fact that all of us have in our veins the exact same percentage of salt in our blood that exists in the ocean. And therefore, we have salt in our blood, in our sweat, in our tears. I thought that was beautiful, right? And he's like, look, I'm a diving instructor. I have this passion for the ocean. I have a passion for the sea, and I realize that we're so connected as a human being. We have the same level of salt, and that was his why. My why is boating changed my life. I want to help other people change their life, right? So find your why. Find your where and find your how. So also, I was talking to you about your workplace, right? This is how I do my workplace. So I have my little saying, gratefulness, value, and hustle. And so I want to talk to you. When I went through divorce, it was like a year and a half ago, I realized that there was something wrong with me, which was like, I was never grateful. I always wanted more, right? I buy one house, I buy two houses, I buy three houses, and I always wanted more and more and more. I was never happy. So I'm like, you know what? I cannot go back to work until I figure that out. So I kind of go kind of like a mini sabbatical. I just take the works that comes to me. I don't think any work. So I have all that time and I'm just reading, researching, taking course, and I'm literally reading. I wanted to understand why I was never grateful for what I had. And I realized that we live in a society where we're never grateful for what we have. We always want more, especially because of social media, right? Or motivation. People will want to make you more successful, which means that you're never happy with what you have. And so I'm trying to find meditation. I'm trying to find grateful and stuff. And I realize it works temporary, but it doesn't really work. And I found this book called The Gap and the Gain, which changed my life, right? The Gap and the Gain. Like instead of focusing on the gap, which is like, let's say if I have 10 houses and I want 30 houses, right? I have 10 houses, I'm miserable because I want 30. So I focus on the gap. But instead of focusing on the gap, I focus on the gain. Like maybe 5 years ago, I had no house. Now I have 10 houses, the gain, right? And it's the same with kids. If you give them a cookie, like, oh, Dad, I'm hungry. You take a cookie, you cut in half, you give them one each, and they're going to start crying right away because one has a bigger piece than the other. But like, you were hungry, you have a cookie in your hand. They're not focusing on the gap. They're not focusing on the gain. They're focused on the gap. Read that book. It's a very short book to read, and it completely changed my life. So that's my GVH formula, right? Grateful. I want to be grateful every day. Value. Why value? If you go on the dictionary, look at the definition of money, they say it's a medium that is exchanged in the marketplace in exchange for the value. Therefore, if you provide more value, you'll make more money. And hustle for me is, it's not hustle to hustle, it's hustle to have a better life. My favorite quote is easy choice, hard life. Hard choice is easy life. So if I make the hard choice, if I hustle, I have a better life, easier life, travel more, make more money, I do what I want, right? In that sense. So gratefulness, very important. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to you about, the gap and the gain, right? So that's the idea of the gap and the gain. You can see it. So your brain visualize the start, what you achieve, that will be the gap, and that will be the gain. So you will, if you have a gap vision, you will always be miserable. If you have a gain vision, you'll always be happy. And in our relationship is the same. We always want better in our relationship, but we're not happy with what we already have, right? So people keep, and it's the same for everything. In the money, in the work, in the relationship, in weight, right? People, they want a six-pack body, but maybe they realize they are healthier than a few years ago, which is better. So don't measure forward the gap, measure backward the gain. So value, I talked to you about value. If you want to increase your value, you make more money. And at the end of the day, and I told you this, the only thing that works is work, right? You're going to have to push that big block, but we're going to make it easy to push the big block. So exercise number 1, you're going to define your why, your where, and your how. And you're going to put something on your desk that will help you bring that clarity. So my where, that's where I want to go. For me, is about travel. All I love is travel. I want to buy a boat, go around the world. I want to spend time travel. I want to have a lifestyle business so I can travel with my partner and with my kids, right? So that's why, that's my where. That's my vision. Then why am I doing this? Because boating changed my life. I want to help other people change their life. And how I'm going to do this on a daily basis? Well, I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to provide value, and I'm going to hustle. So everything is always here on my desk. So it's a clear. Now, one of the things that you can do to get better is have more clarity in your life. Quickly, exercise number 2, keep track of your daily accountable activity and block time for essential activity. So I can give you, show me your habit, and I'll show you your future. I can give you a little, I'm going to give you this slide. You can keep track. Did I get a good sleep? Did I commit to have a powerful day? Did I practice gratitude? You can change it to what you want, right? But like, you got, if you don't do this thing on a daily basis, your life's not going to change. We're not here to escape the life we're living. We're here to build the life we want. And if you want to do this, you got to keep track, accountability. So I'm going to give you these slides, very simple to use. Yes, no, no, yes. And I give you an idea. If you do it for a month, now your life will be significantly better. Exercise number 3, I'm going to give you a boat show commission calculator. I love this one. It's so simple, yet so effective. It's going to calculate you how many leads you're going to have to get. And now that we're going from, you didn't really need this calculator a few years ago with COVID, but now that we're going back to a buyer's market, you're going to need it. Very simple to use. I'll send that to you. You put the average boat price, your commission percentage, and it will calculate exactly the number of leads, and you can keep track of yourself, and you can see like, okay, am I on track to get the results that I want? Another exercise I'm going to give you, define your exact financial goals. Some people, they really not successful because they don't really know what they want. So if you know exactly what you want to define your exact financial goal, you need to write exactly where you want to go. And once you have the numbers, then you can work towards it. Very powerful too. I'll send you that document. Another exercise, I want you to exercise the retirement party. I love this exercise. Imagine you are at your retirement party. You're sharing a toast with your colleague, clients, friends, family. You have worked many years in the industry. You finally arrive. Now I want you to imagine that your boss, colleague, family members giving a talk in celebration of your hardworking career. Right? What do you want them to say? What would you like them to say in detail? List 5 things you would like them to say about you. And for instance, for me, it would be like, Vincent, he had authority in the marketplace because he really wanted to give. He was always seeking the secrets from all the best sales pro, and he really wanted to give. So he was generous, always giving the best advice. He was a student. Vincent was constantly learning. Even when he was 65, 70, he was always reading books, and he was always students. I would want to hear, Vincent was a facilitator. He was always connecting one person to another and helping them. He was working with the shipyard and the sales pro and connecting them, helping them find jobs, helping them this and that. I would want to say Vincent was a hard worker, right? He was working hard. He had a couple businesses. He was always working hard. And now, based on what I said, I compare with my standard. Like, am I doing that today? And if not, well, I need to give more, work harder, study more, facilitate more. It's a good exercise because it will really help you. Compare those 5 things to the daily habits and action you're taking today in your job. And last exercise, before we take a little break, the cost of not improving your sales. So what's your desired business goal? What's your current business revenue? Revenue goal minus current revenue is called the cost of not getting help. How would you apply this information to sell, to close this gap, right? Like, this is the cost of not taking action. It's also good to see that, right? And it can be done financially or in your relationship or in your work or in your health life, right? Where you want to be in your health life, where you are right now, what's the cost? Well, the cost is going to be 10 years of lifespan. Now you can see how many years of lifespan it is. Okay, now I want to do it because I see the difference. A little advice that I want to give you is like, how long, if I'm asking you a question, how long you want to live? I'm going to expand your life right now. How long you want to live? If you asked me 6 months ago, I would tell you 92. I said 92. Why? Because my grandma lived until 95. My other grandma, 92. I'm like, yeah, I'll be happy. You know, they were the oldest in my family. I'm happy if I reach 92. But then one day I changed these numbers. I'm like, fuck 92. I want to live 148. Right? Because of this progress in medicine, why should I base my my lifespan based on my grandma's? I was born in 1914 or some stuff like that, when now, or 1920 or something, when now we have like super advanced medicine. So now my new number is 148, 142 actually. I want to live 142. Since I've made that change, I kid you not, I feel younger. I feel like more energy. I feel like, because it's like a car. You have your tank that is 50% full or 20% full now. Now I feel like I have so much less worry about my tank, right? So I would recommend you to change your life expectancy numbers to much higher. And then you'll feel younger, you'll feel better, you feel happier, you feel life's going to be longer. That's how we end this little. So let's have a couple questions, and then we have a little 5-minute break, and then we go to personal branding, which I love. So I'm going to open the personal branding. Let's go for questions. Ian, you want to start with questions?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of good stuff there. I mean, I guess the question I'd have is, how, I guess it would be more kind of a personal thing. Like when I first started this, I started doing this because, you talk about like the when, the why, the how, that kind of stuff. I started this because it was the best opportunity to make the most amount of money possible.
Yeah.
So
But
it wasn't
now-
necessarily like a passion of boats. Or
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. It was just
But now if you want to
an
take it to
opportunity.
the next level, you need to define that. And you'll have more fun in your job too. Because it's not something that is just rational, like, hey, let's just make some dollars. Let's changing people's life is more fun than making dollars, you know. So yeah, that's why I think defining this is always more fun to go to your job and to do your job, and you inspire more people, you inspire yourself, right? So that's good. You admit that too, right? And I had some friends that were brokers, and they were, I could see those guys. I'm like, man, those guys are great salesmen. Those guys are gonna crush it. But they didn't have the why. And after 6 months, 1 year, eventually they quit. They went doing something else because they didn't have the passion for boating, and people can feel it consciously or unconsciously, right? They're like, I don't care. I'm just in the boating industry because there is money. I've seen a few guys like that. They were exceptional. They were better salesmen than the other guys, but they didn't make it because people can sense it, right? So, any other question about the mindset, Ian? No?
No, I think everything else is pretty good.
Good.
That was
Gordon.
one thing that kind of stuck out.
I don't know if I necessarily have questions as much as comments that build on that. Coming from some of your other trainings and things I picked up from you along the way is you know, don't always be closing, always be helping. That was a big one that I got from you. That kind of rolls into this as far as mindset goes. And, you know, one thing I kind of keep in the back of my head is that I'm not necessarily selling boats as much as trying to acquire clients, just by offering that good service.
Yeah.
And forget about the money. Just try to do a group as best job as you can and help them with whatever obstacles they have in their way, and the money will follow. And just focus on, you know, helping your clients be successful, whatever that means, and they will come back to you and you'll have continued success. And that's
Yeah.
kind of the way I try to model it.
That's absolutely right. I love what you're saying. I recorded a YouTube video this week, and it's actually about the win-wins. The biggest danger in boat sales is a win-win situation.
Anyway,
Cannot be
I remember that.
win-win. If you are in win-win, your clients can sense that, and it's like having a handbrake to your progression in your sales. You got to work with client, not customers, right? So that was I think I'll be live that tomorrow. Thanks for sharing. Simon, any question?
Yeah.
Mindset.
Can you please tell me more about this win-win you just mentioned?
Sorry, I cannot hear you well.
Can you tell me more about the win-win?
Oh, the win-win. Well, actually, we're going to talk about the win-win tomorrow, and I will also launch a video. So the idea of the win-win is that basically, if you approach someone with a win-win scenario, win-win situation, and consciously they're going to sense that you don't protect their own interest, their best interest, that you're just protecting yourself, right? And so you're not genuinely giving. If you approach someone, you genuinely give to them, they will be appreciative and want to give back to you. And they will give back to you much more than if you approach them with a win-win, like, hey, let's share this, what's on the table, right? So, and especially when you work with affluent people, don't play the win-win game with people that are richer than you, right? It doesn't make sense if you think about it. But if you don't play, but if you serve affluent people that are so much more richer than you, now if you go genuinely giving to them, when they're gonna give back to you, you're gonna feel it, right? So don't play win-win with them. That's kind of like the idea, but we'll talk about it again tomorrow, and I'll have the video too. So let's have a little break now, guys. So it's 10:16. Let's have 5-minute break. We'll be back at 10:21 here on Pacific time. So you got 5 minutes if you want to get a coffee or go to the washroom, get some water. And in 5 minutes, we'll talk about personal branding, okay? See you in 5 minutes. Okay, here we go. We are back. Okay, so let's go back for. So I'm very excited. We did the intro. We did the part number 1 on mindset, which will help you a lot. So you're going to have access to the replay, and you're going to have access to all the exercises and material. Perfect. Simon has his camera. Great. So next, we are going to talk about personal branding. I'm so excited about this because the few people that I know in the boating industry that are doing phenomenal using social media have all used this framework. And I'm very excited for you guys to have access to this framework and really bring your sales game, your authority to the next level. I want you to imagine a world where instead of chasing clients and listings and leads, those listings, leads, and clients come to you, right? This is possible when you build the right, proper personal brand. So we're going to talk about the personal branding. Who are you most likely to trust? I'm going to ask you, who are you most likely to trust? This broker, Joseph Hastings, which I don't know, by the way, or this broker, Julia, which I know. So Julia has 9,000 followers. She talks about yacht, super yacht, yacht sales, yacht broker. So she's involved in the social conversation. She's a yacht broker. She's company owner. You have access to all her information here. She has a nice, very authoritative photo here in the Monaco, 9,000 followers, right? That's a power of personal brand. And what I see is I see a lot of people underuse the social platform. If you look at LinkedIn, for instance, you get 90% of people that are lurkers, 10% are consumers, and only 1% that are creators. Now, personal branding, I'm not talking about branding, right? And I'm not talking about personal. This is personal branding. So what is personal branding is? Well, I wanted to give you an idea, like, who's the most connected person in the world right now? In terms of media, in terms of reach, the biggest influence person in the world right now, it's Joe Rogan. His podcast has hundreds of millions of downloads, right? Now, when you ask people, hey, what do you think when you hear Joe Rogan? So here's what they respond. They say MMA, aliens, conspiracy theory, hunting, a few more things, right? So what are those? That's not what he does. He's a media man. He's a they don't tell you podcaster, media, information. No, they say the other thing. They say what? His interest. So you find interest here and you find a niche, and that's a zone of influence. That's a zone of attraction. So that's that branding here, and that's personal. And personal branding is here in the zone, right? So there is boating. Let me give you my friend Jeff Merrill. He's a top broker for trawler. Boating is here. And then here you have trawler. You have Hawaiian shirt and travel around the world. And nerding thing about boating, that's right here. That's his zone. That's his personal branding, right? Julia Skopfova. You have yachting. Then here you have super yacht. You have Monaco lifestyle, luxury lifestyle. You have, she talks about the market, travel a lot. That's her personal branding. If you just talk about boating, basically you're just doing branding, not personal branding, right? And it's not really attracting people because people want to work with people. So the personal branding strategy pyramid, we have your topic, Then you have what your audience, your goals, your KPI, like who you want to reach, how many people you want to reach, and you know what influence you want to have. Your story, your value, your style. Everything needs to be taken in consideration. But people, most of the time, they will just have one topic. They will have no real specific audience. They'll talk to anyone that is interested about boating. No real stories. They don't share the stories. They don't share the value. They're just like showing their listings, price reduction, new listings, and no style. Very neutral. You can't have that, right? Building your personal brand, and I'm going to show you today, is going to involve a little bit more sophistication into the choice of the interest you're going to have. You're going to have to define your pillars. So a few years ago, I started to put a photo on my email signature. Why? Because I was reading a sales book and I learned about something called the familiarity effect. Familiarity bias, sorry. It's like when you go to car dealership, they will be like, hey, I'm going to the office, I come back. I'm going to make a copy, I come back. I'm going to make a coffee, I come back. I go talk to the manager, I come back. They purposely will go back and forth 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Because when you see them 4, 5, 6, 7 times, every time you see them, it's like you see them another day. So it's like you have seen them, you have met them 6, 7 times in their life, and you're more likely to do business with them, right? So that's why I put my face in my email, and that's why I try to put my face also on social media. I'm trying to put, and I don't like that. I don't like that. Believe it or not, I'm very introvert type person. I don't like showing my face, but I force myself. I'm having quotes made with my photo. If you look on my LinkedIn or my Facebook today, there is a quote about me with my face on it. And a few years ago, I would see someone that has an Instagram that takes selfie. I would be like, make fun of those people, but it was judgment. It was just a reflection of my own insecurity. Maybe if I make fun of them, it's because I'm insecure, so I should put my face more out there. So let's talk about the 3 key elements of personal branding. The 3 key elements of personal branding: relevancy, omnipresence, intimacy. ROI. We're going to study the ROI formula today. Relevancy, intimacy, omnipresence. This concept is from a gentleman named Scott Alford. He's a great entrepreneur, very successful. I came across his stuff. I came across his course, and I'm like, I need to bring that to boating, because the people that I see in boating that are doing very well with social media are using this framework, whether they know it or not. So we're going to study this framework today. Number 1, relevancy. It's essentially your marketing message. It's like the pillar of a house. What are you talking about? So the 3 main components of relevancy. We got service. Doesn't have to be for money, right? It can be mortgage, insurance, refit if you're selling a prestige yacht, but your clients are going to need some money, some like finance, some insurance, some refit, some surveyor. You can talk about that, right? So, but it's also about talking about your offer. Your offer needs to be attractive, easy to accept. If you want to buy a boat, it's very simple. You come here, choose your model, choose your options. We'll get you a slot. You'll get your order, right? Make it easy to do business. Messaging. The messaging is like, what kind of message do you share wrapped around your service? So for instance, for me, my service was Prestige Vision and Yacht Sales Academy. So it was like sales and marketing support for shipyard and sales professional. But my messaging was family, travel, and entrepreneurship. I traveled around the world nonstop for 15 years. So I really enjoy when people were following me on social media, they knew they would go for a trip with me. Going around the world, going to Dubai, going to Europe, going to South America, going there, right? That was one of my pillars. My family was one of my pillars until fortunately, because I'm happier now, but I went through a divorce. So I kind of removed that pillar. I changed a little bit of the structure of my house. But for me, family has always been very important, right? So I was sharing, photo of my family. And another pillar was entrepreneurship, because I'm a serial entrepreneur. I mean, I had 3 businesses, because I had the brokerage, Yacht Academy, and Precision. Now I have 2. I stopped the brokerage 3 years ago. So entrepreneurship was my pillar. So when you were following Vincent, you had entrepreneurship, travel, boating, family. That was the 4 pillar. So my question to you is, what are your 4 pillars? Do you even have pillars? Or if you just talk about boating, it's not going to be good. Because my 4 pillar was my domain of interest, right? Remember Joe Rogan? That was my personal branding, not just branding. Boating is branding. Personal branding was my 3 other pillar. And your positioning, so your messaging is simply how you describe yourself, what you do for your prospect, and how they ultimately benefit from working with you. And your positioning is what differentiates yourself. So the positioning is how you set yourself apart from your competition, what makes you special. And so for instance, my friend Jeff Merrill's positioning is trawler and Hawaiian shirt. He always has a Hawaiian shirt. He's always on trawler. Positioning for my friend Kim Swear, the boss, boat boss. She's always like the lady talking in boating, right? She represents the lady power in boating. Same for my friend Marcella de Kern-Royer. She wrote the book On Board with the big super yacht book. I have it behind. Her positioning is super yacht luxury. Monaco, Dubai, luxury, the super yacht. My friend Ken Clinton, my clients for over 10 years, president of Intrepid Powerboat. Positioning, I'm the boat builder. I'm the god of boat builder. You know everything technically on the boat. Right? That's their position. So example of irrelevant topic. Talk about politics, cryptocurrency, too much talk about partying, too many friends, family photo, inappropriate jokes. That would not be proper relevance. So are we clear for our relevance, right? We know what we're going to talk about now to be relevant. Next, omnipresence. Omnipresence is where you seem to be everywhere for your target audience. This is what happens when you appear in someone's life consistently. It's a key to dominating the news feed. When you go online on social media, you're going to hear about this person. I got some friends like this. My friend Alex Jimenez, the yacht guy. My friend David Seal. David Seal, if I go on LinkedIn, if I go on Facebook, I will, or even now on Instagram, I will hear from him. He's consistent. It's really good for omnipresence. My friend Marcella too. So the 3 components of effective omnipresence: timing. When do you post? Like, do you post at midnight when you're done your day, or you post when actually people are on social media? Frequency. Consistently offer value and subsequently building relationship regularly with your people, not just once a month, but it can be once a day, 2 times a day, or 3 times a week, right? Doesn't really matter depending, but some people have great posts, but just once every 6 months, it's not enough. Or timing can be just a before, during, and after. Sometimes people will work really hard until they sell a boat, and then you will not hear them for months. And then the right platform. The right platform is the best omnipresence is targeting, for instance, like when you retarget someone because they keep following you on different platforms. But essentially, you want to be there on different platforms, whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, right? You don't need to be obsessed with all the platforms, but be at least 2 or 3 platforms, or 3 or 4 platforms. Example of no omnipresence: posting in one platform only, no regularity in the presence, or posting content at irrelevant time. So are we clear now for our relevancy and omnipresence? Now, here is the thing. People are successful. They will be relevant. They will be omnipresent. And they'll be like, you know what? I make money. I'm successful. Let me hire an agency who's going to post social media for me. And they subtract themselves from the most important one, which is the intimacy. That's the biggest mistake. Intimacy is entirely focused on creating authentic relationship. Today, our reality is endless automation with technology. Those that serve you, right? People really want real human authentic connection. And the problem is when you hire an agency or someone to help you with your social medias, they tell you, oh, I'm going to do posts for you and this and that and that. They remove your intimacy, and that's when you start losing. The difference between a contact and a contract is just a letter R, and it stands for relationship. So the three main components of intimacy, we've got connection, conversation, community. Connection is a honest, authentic, transparent, behind the scene, open, vulnerable connection. Conversation is like, let's make the effort, replying to comments, create conversation, responding to your email, responding to personal messages. Very important. And community is a safe space for your people to network, to support each other. Can be a Facebook group, can be your page, but entertain this community. People love operating under a tribe. So intimacy is to help your clients at the highest level. We live in an age of information, we live in an age of automation, but people are magnetized to intimacy and real, authentic human connection. So example of wrong intimacy, the guy worked for Prestige, they're doing a great marketing work, and they keep giving them lifestyle photo and lifestyle shots of the Prestige, and he keep posting the photo of Prestige, the video of Prestige, and you never see the guy's face, right? Or the guy, he works for that brokerage, they're doing a great job for marketing, and they have a lot of marketing content, and he only share the marketing content from the brokerage, and you never see his face. Or always sharing other people's content. That would be example of no intimacy. So we start to see now what works, right? Relevancy, omnipresence, intimacy. Now, what happened before you put this into action? I really want to show you what happened if you put them separately, if you don't use them all at the same time. The marketing tool, if you're only relevant, yeah, you're only relevant. So you just talk about your offer, and you're not omnipresent, you're not intimate. It's a marketing to nobody. That's a funny meme here. It's like you're in the bathroom scrolling Facebook, you accidentally like a friend post, and she's in MLM, and she coming at you right away trying to sell you something. Right? That's an MLM marketer. Oh, fuck, that guy's at me. Like, oh, no. We don't want the MLM marketer, right? Or that's a bench. You go, you drive down, and you see a bench, and you see a realtor or the realtor on the bench. That's his type of marketing. Totally irrelevant, totally inappropriate, right? The shelter ad, the bus shelter advertising. Zero relationship with them, but they're pushing their product to you. If you are just omnipresent, but not relevant and not intimate, that's a mosquito. Which is, okay, so annoying, making a lot of noise. You just want to slap that thing. Leave me alone. I don't need you. Stop making noise. Don't be like that, right? Or some people, they are in both sales, like they're afraid to ask for the offer, so they just post random stuff. No intimacy, no real relevant stuff, so they're the mosquito. No. Next one is you're in boat sales friends. So it's like sometimes you go on the dock and you see this guy, typically they're older guys, they know everything about boats, and they start chatting with you, and they know everything about boats, but you will never do business with them. They have no authority. And, you know, you're like, oh, this guy's going to chat with me on the dock for a while, right? That's how you feel when you're just intimate, but no relevant and not omnipresent. So we want to avoid that, right? Now, if you want to actually grow using the ROI method, here is how it's done. There are three primarily things you see when you combine relevancy, omnipresence, and intimacy. And I'm going to share them with you. The first one is when you charge the perfect commission without ever having to discount. So you start to have authority here. When you marry relevancy plus omnipresence, that's when you have authority, right? So I'm relevant, and now omnipresent. I trust these guys. This guy is the authority. So which means that, okay, we're going to pay premium price for that. you know that they're respectable, and you're less likely to ask for discount for them. Next, when you create the perfect connection without becoming annoying. So what's happening here is when you combine, so how to attract the perfect clients without compromising your value or discounting is, oh, sorry, I forgot one slide. That was a perfect connection right here. So the perfect connection was right here, right? When you bring intimacy and omnipresence. And finally, when you bring intimacy and relevancy, it's a perfect client. Have you ever been sometime to a listing appointment and you talk to someone, they don't get your joke, and they're really cold. They're cold because they don't know you. So they don't know, they might respect you, they might respect your firm, but they don't know you. So you don't really have a good feeling with them. You want them to know you. And if you want them to know you, you need to have this intimacy. Share about yourself. When you start to have intimacy, people come to see you, they know you, they like you, they want to do business with you. So that's why everything is important. Relevancy, omnipresence, and intimacy. If you want to attract more of your perfect clients. So it's just, I have authority for you. I have a great connection with you. I know you, you know me. And I respect you and your business. I'll pay you premium price for it. That's what's happening when you attract the perfect clients, charge a perfect commission, and create the perfect connection. That's the ROI formula, and that's when the magic happens. So next, what we're going to do next is we'll talk listing. And after that, we're going to talk about content creation. I will show you how to have some content to start to grow your personal branding. So are we clear? Let's have some questions now. Are we clear about this? And what I would recommend you is to literally print this, put it on your desk, and every time you communicate on social media, looking at this. For me, this is like this and this and this on my desk. Like I'm always looking at it. Like, am I relevant? Am I omnipresent? Am I intimate? That's my guideline for social media. You know what? I need to do more video. And it was, sometimes it's hard. Like when I went through divorce, like I didn't want to show my face, you know, like I wasn't feeling that good. When you're not feeling that great, you don't really want to talk much. So I kind of have to take a little break for a while of social media. But essentially now I'm back in the game. I'm like, look, I got to be intimate. I got to be relevant. I got to be omnipresent. Let's have some questions about the personal branding formula. And then we'll go to getting listings. Simon, you want to start this time? Make sure to unmute. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I like the content. Well, I don't have a question. I'm completely agree about especially about the omnipresence, to be very visible online.
For me, Simon, what I notice that people do the most is because they're uncomfortable sharing their photo and uncomfortable sharing their own faces. They will be relevant and omnipresent, but they will remove the intimacy. That's what I will notice the most. People will not want to have the intimacy. And so the best advice that I give people usually is like, you got to work on the intimacy. You got to work on the intimacy. You got to work on the intimacy. And when I'm going to send you the notes for today's class, I'm going to give you 5 or 6 names of people in the boating industry I absolutely want you to follow that are doing very well on social media because they have strong intimacy. They're not afraid of sharing their photos and video on a regular basis, almost on a daily basis. And what you will notice about them is they have those pillars. All of them have different pillars, right? So, yeah. Thanks. Gordon.
Yeah. So in the 365-day calendar of social media, do you have the types of posts broken up into which one of these categories they would fall under?
Yes. Yeah. I have all the categories for all the posts. So one of them is yeah, they all have different the categories are different. The one is listing, one is personal, one is buyer, one is seller, one is expert day, and then there's another one. But every day of the week you have a different category. But essentially you have to make sure they're relevant and intimate. That's going to be your job to make it. I'll tell you the exact content to post, what to talk about. I give you the wording and everything, but you can copy and paste my stuff, but I wouldn't recommend. It's better if you do a video and read the thing and do a video.
Yeah.
Like today, we're going to talk about the commission. Do you know why? Sometime it will work against you to not go for a 10% commission. Do you know what's the number one question people ask when they call me, when they have a boat for sale? Brokers, what's a percentage commission? And if I don't tell them it's 10%, they hang up the phone. That's a great piece of content, right? But if you say it yourself, it's so much better. So yeah, so I will give you all the templates. Now, what are your 4 pillar or 3 pillar, Gordon, for instance? If you had to define your 4 pillar. So you were a captain, right?
Yes.
So that could be technical. Then that could be boats. Then what else?
Well, I'm going to hold off on answering that question. I need to give it a little bit more thought after getting through this far. And
yeah, because you don't really like social media, right?
in my personal life, no, but I definitely see the value of it and have started using it more. And the more you use it, the more comfortable you get with it. So eventually, you know, it will just be second nature. So that's the reason for being here, is to get those ideas and how to be creative and get it out there. Once you clear that.
If you want idea for being creative, the next sessions, I mean, the one about content, you're going to love it, because we're going to remove all the creativity thinking cap that you need to do, because I'm going to give you everything. One thing, you know, sometimes people ask me, should I have a personal and a professional social media? And you know what I always respond? I'm like, who has a personal social media anyway? Who has time for that nowadays, right? You don't want to waste time. It's just for work. The only reason I have social media is for work. I don't even want social media for personal. What do you want me to do? Right. So the only reason I'm doing it is for work. So I'm like, just have one for work and use it for work. And, you know, so that's
well,
my
I think what you're putting together here, where you actually have a reason for doing it and a structure to it and a purpose behind it, instead of just randomly posting, I had a survey today, or I got a new listing. You know, that's the key, is understanding why you're doing it.
I want you to know the why. Now you have the exact formula, and I'm going to give you the content. And I mean, I cannot do more than that, right? I cannot come and fly to your place with my camera to record you. I could, but you know, like, I'm trying to remove all the headache for you guys, and that you do it in a proper way that will yield the highest result. Right? Ian.
So one more comment on that real quick. I think what ends up happening is, once you start doing this, you start to have a little bit of success, and then you get tied into, you know, you get focused on the real part of your job that's going to make you the money, is closing those deals. And then this part gets lost, and you stop with the consistency. So having that plan in place where you're able to make little clones of yourself and send them out to do the work while you're closing deals and doing all the things you need to do.
Yes. Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Almost automated.
Yeah. That's why you got to be consistent also. And you have to make it a part of your job. You have to plan it. For me, social media is planned. If you look in my weekly calendar, everything is planned by the hour. Social media, I got Monday afternoon, I got Wednesday afternoon, I got some, and Friday afternoon, I got some for recording, for posting. My assistant, every day she got to post stuff. But it's, again, we're restarting it, because I've been very successful with social media, but I completely stopped for 1.5 years during my divorce, which wasn't a good idea, but I didn't really feel like it, you know, like maybe I should have worked into this and comfort thing, but anyhow. Ian.
Yeah, I think this is all good stuff, kind of mentioned on what Gordon was saying. I think, you know, I think the omnipresence stuff is kind of the biggest challenge for a lot of people who actually want to do it. and use it to, grow their brand and get themselves exposure. I've seen in doing stuff and doing posts and things like that, relevancy is rather easy. Intimacy, you do it yourself, that's rather easy. It's a matter of just kind of figuring out how to do content every day or
Yeah,
every other
yeah.
day.
That's why I will
Making it like the same thing
the
over and over.
365-day calendar. That's why I put it together, because I realize a lot of brokers are like, they have no idea what to do, what to post. So I try to, yeah, I agree. But it's interesting what you're saying, because you see, it depends on the persons. Because you're saying omnipresence, Simon said omnipresence is the most challenge, and for me, I think intimacy is the most challenge, because I'm shy by nature. So for me, posting is not a problem. Posting my face is a problem, right? So posting some stuff about the boat, I can do it. But if you have to do a video, someday I don't want to do a video. Someday I don't want to show my face on social media, but I have to, right? I'm trying to. So, and I feel like it's maybe half and half. Half people will say it's omnipresent, and half other people will say it's intimacy, right? Because usually relevant, if you're doing it for business, you will most likely post business stuff, right? But you got to find out what's your battle to fight. If it's omnipresence battle or the intimacy battle. Okay. Let's have a 5-minute break. It's 10:51. We're gonna be back at 10:56, and because we have a big session coming in for listings, and then after that we have so that's good. I think we're on time. We are good. We'll start around 11 because we've got 2 more hours. So I want to have 1 hour for listings and 1 hour for content. Okay. So maybe we'll have a little bit more for listings. So let's connect in 5 minutes, 10:57. Okay. See you guys. Okay. We are back. We're cruising nicely, guys. Good work. So we did mindset and objective. We did personal branding. Now we are getting on step number 3, getting listings. I'm very excited about this. Gordon had a little company training a few days ago, so we did that. So that's good for you. You're going to see that again, which is perfect. There's a few, I believe there are a few more strategies that I share with you guys the other day. So the strategies I'm going to share with you guys, I want you them to use them. Okay. Make sure to steal them from me. Word for word, you change a little bit, you make it at your own sauce, but this is very good stuff for getting listings. Number 1, if you don't list, you don't last. Becoming better at listings will help you dominate your market. Getting quality listing is probably your biggest problem. Because the market is changing, market cycle is changing, we're going to have an influx of listings. So I want you to capitalize on that to get the best listings for the best term, the best price. We're going to talk about the selling equation. Price plus exposure equal your boat sold. Equation is quite simple. You must first start with the correct and accurate pricing for your boat. Once you have the boat price right, you can start advertising it massively to the marketplace. I was actually talking to my friend John Burkhardt, is a CEO of Allied Marine. And what did he tell me? Let me see. I made some notes. They did $1 billion in sales last year. So that was pretty good. He told me, let me see. Okay. He said the 4 pillar, the 4 leg of a stool when it comes to boat sales. You have the condition of the boat, the location, the price, and the marketing. If you remove one of those, or if one of those is not good, it's going to prevent you from selling your boat. I thought it was interesting. Condition, location, price, and marketing. I took that as a note. You see, as I told you, I always learn a lot myself too. So the selling equation, price plus exposure equal your boat sold. The problem is I see way too many boat brokers starting with the wrong price. And, oh, I got a $2 million listing, but it's priced wrong. And it's not going to help you. I was doing the same problem. I had the same problem when I was a broker. I wanted to have, I was a listing holder. I was accumulating listings. At some point, I had 50 or 70 listings, but they were all shitty listings. And then I learned along the way that I would rather have less listings, but high price listings. And that's really what matters, to have the right price listing. So that's what I'm going to talk to you today. What the main thing we have when it comes to listing is, the biggest problem we have is the endowment effect, the ownership effect. When people own a boat, they think it's worth more than what the other people are thinking. Right? I was talking to Ian at the Miami Boat Show, and he told me something interesting. He said, the problem is buyers think it's 2007 and sellers think it's 6 months ago, right? And essentially, that's the role of the broker, is kind of like a mediator. You're in the middle. So a buyer will not pay more than they need to. And the strange things happen in our mind as soon as we buy something. No matter it's a pair of shoes, a car, or a yacht. As soon as we become owner of something, our mind undergo an instant transformation. We overvalue something because we own it. That's the essentially the endowment effect, right? A tendency to overvalue something because we own it. So we have to remind clients. Your job as a broker is to remind clients. What can you do to remind clients about this? I'm going to show you a few things today that you can do. Number 1 is a price graph. You need to have something like this to always show clients. And I remember Gordon last time he told me, oh, I use this graph when I show. Like a graph like this is also something you want to show. So you show tell clients, say, looking at recent market snapshot, pricing makes a difference between what sits and what sells. And tell your clients, I want you to tell your client, my job is not, or my objective is not to list your boat. My objective is to sell your boat. So if we want to sell it, we need to have an attractive price that makes sense in the marketplace. I don't dictate the price. The market dictates the price. It's not my personal opinion. I wish I could tell you a price you're happy with, but I'm not here to make you happy. I'm here to help your yacht, to help you sell your yacht for the maximum value in minimum time. You see, when you have that honest conversation with a client, they will start to respect you and listen to you. So this is a great graph, by the way. This is becoming a little bit old because I got that a few years ago, but if you could have maybe something like this updated, that would be amazing. The risk of pricing too high. A buyer is not going to pay any more than they have to when purchasing a boat because they have been watching the marketplace closely and they're looking at all the inventory. And they know better than anyone else what's available and for how much. So if your price is within the market range, buyers will come at your boat. If your price is too high, they'll skip it. The higher you go above the fair market value to test the market, the less showing you will have. You want to sell your boat or do you want to help other people sell them? That's another thing you can tell clients, right? You need to have, it's not lines, but it's things that you need to tell clients. Like, be honest with them. Do you want me to sell your boat or help other people sell it? Right? So here is an idea of the problem with testing the market. You can see clearly. Another thing I want you to tell clients is like the rise in inventory. So you can tell your clients, say, look, Mr. and Mrs. Clients, we have noticed that there is a significant reduction in trading volume, yet there is an increase in inventory volume. And I mean, you can just go. If you go on Yacht World, you look. I think I was telling you guys the other day, I went on Yacht World and I looked from Sunseeker 50 feet to 90 feet on Yacht World. The inventory, we have around, I think I found 89. And 6 months ago, I would have found 10 boats, right? So here is a problem with testing the market. It will not work. We also have an excitement of a new listing on the market. So a new on the market listings over the period of 1 month to 3 months, usually we're going to have an excitement. That's when we want to have the offers. And if we don't have the offers during that time, that's when we're going to lose it, right? Because if you attract the buyers during that time, well, there's not much interest, means you're going to have much lower offer. The most important thing to understand is the time factors. Time will influence on 3 aspects of the sales. Number 1, the market perception, which is the longer the boat is on the market, the less it will be desirable. The depreciation, the longer on the market, the greater the depreciation, and the running cost. The longer on the market, the more the running cost expense will add up. So time, expand, right? Everything is exponential. The longer it takes for you to sell the boat of your clients, that's the reasoning you want to show the clients. If you show them a graph like that adapted to their own boat, that's why you want to interview the clients before you meet them. Say, okay, what's your average running cost? And the depreciation, you can more or less figure out, and the market perception you can also more or less figure out. So here is an example of a $2 million yacht, right? Let's say $2 million Sunseeker. If you offer, if you sell a boat within 3 months, it costs the clients $150. Within a year, $600K, even more sometimes. So what do? Is you tell your clients, would you accept an offer 3 months from now? One day I was selling a San Lorenzo 104. We got an offer at 4.3. The client said no. Instead of saying, would you accept 4.2? I said, would you accept 4.2 in 3 months from now? And he said, yes. That's all we needed to know. Because he said, no, I will only accept 4.3. I said, okay, would you accept that 3 months from now? He said, yes. I'm like, okay, it's all we need. And then we show him the graph and he say, okay, done. I will accept. And the boat was closed. Because you show the clients that in a month, right? 2 months or 3 months, the cost will accrue. Another thing that I want you to do, and I'm going to give you the YouTube video so you can do this if you want to do a market analysis. Here is something that if you want to be a professional broker selling some big boats, I would recommend you to use a market analysis and to use this graph all the time. Here is an example. One day a lady came to see me. She was like, hey, I want to sell my boat. I want 2 million net. I'm like, okay. I didn't say you crazy. No, I say, okay, no problem. And I gave her back this graph. And I said, the day you're ready to list around 1 million, closer to market value, you reach out to us. She's like, no, I'm going to try. She tried with another broker for a year, came back to us. Then 6 months after, we had an offer on the boat. Comparative market analysis. You can use soulboat.com. You can use Yacht, right? This is, so use the active listings. You can use a boat under contract, or you can use a boat sold. Or you can use the expired listing too, but always trying to use the sold boat because the price will be lower.
Yep. I use that exact graph all the time and put error bars on the data points that show plus or minus 6%, which is average negotiation. And it really dials it in. Yep. It really dials it in, like how far above or below you can, right to the number, and then whether they're in their boats in the average condition, above average or below average.
Yes. Excellent.
You don't even have to say anything. It's right there.
And when you have that, they cannot say anything. There is no argument with a broker. And they will be like, oh, I'm going to use broker X because he's better than me. They have to use you because you give them the data from the market and you subscribe yourself from any emotion. You're like, I'm not making the decision here. The market makes a decision. My goal is not to list your boat. Broker X, his goal is to list your boat. My goal is to sell your boat. And if I want to sell, I have to price the market. Right? And I'll teach you in a couple of minutes how to say that. So your first offer is often your best offer. I remember vividly when I was a young broker here in Canada that my first offer was often my best offer. And a client would say no, and then I will drag for months to trying to sell this boat, and I will sell eventually to a lower offer. Right? But I wish I knew what I knew now. If you show a graph like that to the client, you can have them accept the first offer. So I'm giving you the graph, I'm giving you all the theory, all the strategies, but it's your job to present that to the clients. So strategy number 1, I'm going to share with you some strategy. Put yourself in your client's shoes. Instead of how do I get more listings? Why would my clients want to list this boat with me? This is critical, guys. Once you start asking that, here is why. What are they looking for? An expert. A broker that can educate them. A broker that demonstrate that they are good at promoting their listing. A broker that shows them tips on sell the boat faster. A broker they like and trust. That will listen to them. That will focus on their boat. That will have confidence and enthusiasm. That will show previous results. Market analysis, right? Referred by a friend, or that has a lot of online reviews. Specialize in their type of boat. And that is good in sales and marketing. Because they give the listing to the one who needs it, but not the one they don't give the listing to the one that needs it the most, but to the one that earned it the most. And that's how you're going to earn it. Show them what they want. So what you're going to do is you're going to work before the appointment, and I'll talk to you about it, right? And you're going to ask for it. Also, always ask, do you know anybody else selling their boat? I'll talk to you, I guess, about it tomorrow, but I'm going to show you what to say during a listing appointment so you can get referrals. So strategy number 2, direct mail. We're going to do a direct mail later now. Direct mail, I love it. It still works amazing. You get a 95% open rate. I call it the 95-95. because I get 95% open rate and I save 95% of the time. Why I save 95% of the time? By the way, this photo was featured in a multi-million-dollar marketing group that the founder of the marketing group saw those my black cards and white pen and how I was copying my letters with a printer, and I was featured in the group. So what I do is I use a template like this, not my company template, and I will write one letter and I will print it many times, and I just change the name. Here is an example of text. We hope you're doing well. Our team has a number of motivated buyers. They're ready to make offer. And then you inform them about your buyers. A retired couple who love fishing, 180K. A couple and their children, 400K. An investor, 600K. Looking to, okay, all of our clients are motivated, ready, and looking closely. If you're thinking of selling, buying your boat next month, let's talk. Meets any of the buyer's criteria, we can bring you an offer quick. Boom. You make it easy for them and you tell them you have buyers. So you draw them in to bring your boat. You draw curiosity. Strategy number 3, social media stories. Are you planning on selling your boat this season? Awesome. Strategy number 4, the market is changing. Sorry, same one. Are you curious about what changed or bringing to the value of your boat? DM me. I love this, right? You can do a little video, you can do a little text, you can walk around when you go to a listing on a marina, say, oh, I noticed more of those boats in the market, right? If you want to know what the value of your boat has been changing over the last few months because the market is changing from a seller market to a buyer market, let me know. Strategy number 4. Now, I'm very excited because Corey signed up to this course. So he's going to see that this weekend when he watches the replay. Corey, I saw this post. You probably don't know I use this post as a case study in my course, but I saw this post for you last year. I thought it was a great post. Why? Because you're talking about the market. And I love brokers when they talk about the market. I don't like to talk about your own listings, your own sales. I like when brokers talk about the market because everybody's interested about the market. So I thought it was a great post. An example can be, my client decided to sell a Sunseeker 55. 6 months ago, there were 7 in inventory. Right now, there is actually 89 between 55 to 90 feet in Florida. So if you want to sell your boat, you better put it for sale right now. If you want to buy a boat, right now there is some inventory, reach out to me. Great post, right? There is another post you can do. You can change that a little bit, but I think that can be it pays to sell with a broker. Number 5, the newsletter. Now, here's what I did. Talking about Corey again. I took your post, Corey, and now I'm doing a newsletter based on your post. Of course, this is fictional, but I want to show you how I take a little social post and I create a newsletter about it because people love to hear a story about the market. Happy Friday is a story about perseverance. We have the most wonderful customer, John and Mary, who have been shopping for the trawler in the Texas area. They are friends and amazing clients who want a Fleming. He's been working with me the last 15 years. The requirements were straightforward. 65 to 72 feet 4-cabin trawler under 2 million. My client asked to call in 16 boats. They wanted to see 10 of the 16s were sold or under contract. By the way, this might still be the case because the market is still hot for certain type of boats. I know catamarans, trawlers still experiencing a good market right now. So we went to see 3 boats in Florida, couldn't find anything, so we started to go out of states. A winning attitude, spunk, perseverance, a lot of effort led to John and Mary getting under contract. There's a snippet of the market. So if with determination of a great broker, we can make dream come true. And then we're going to bring a call to action, which is very important. If you are thinking of making a move this year, we'll be honored to assist. Whether it's buying or selling your yacht, I'll be happy to help you. Here is an active buyers client list. This is very important you put this. So you show them you have buyers. If you have buyers, I want to bring my boat, right? If you're desperate, you want boats, I don't want to bring my boat. Looking for a new build. I just came back from the Viking Valhalla factory and I can assist you with your new purchase. We have a few spots available, so now is the time. Okay, so you also put a call to action for new boats. So that's very good. Another good newsletters. Trading volume is down, inventory is up. We're currently witnessing a switch from a market. If you're considering selling your boat, this is a perfect time to do so. That's very powerful here. Again, your broker, as a broker, you want to talk about the market. Because if I'm going in the marketplace right now, if I'm going to follow the deal and I rent the big exhibition room and I bring 2,000 people from the show, boat owner from the show, and I ask them, how many of them are interested in a Monte Carlo 5? Maybe one of them will raise their hand, right? And then if I say, how many of them are interested to know about the nature of the market, where is the market right now, and where the market's going to be in the next 6 months, and how it's going to affect the value of your boat? All of them is going to raise their hand. So stop talking about your Monte Carlo 5 that nobody cares, or your listings that nobody cares. Of course, you have to promote it, do it, but don't always promote about your listings. Talk about the market. And the newsletters that I'm sharing with you here, they are talking about the market. Have you given up on trying to find a boat on your own with less and less listing on the market? I mean, it's changing a little bit, right? The market changing, so you can update that, but that gives you an idea of my newsletter when I talk about the market. So other idea is winter a good time to sell a boat? Should I keep or sell my boat as we are navigating toward the new market cycle? Is listing your boat right now a bad idea? Is buying a boat with those interest rate going up a good idea? Is selling my boat during an inflation good, bad, saying that. Okay, that's what people want to know. That's this type of content I want you to write. And I will help you. I will give you some resources in the next section so you can have some more material to show this type of content. Strategy number 6, the sold announcement. One of the main mistakes people do when they have a sold announcement, and I encourage you to make sold announcement. Even if you don't sell a boat, even if I was working at Denison, I will post that right now. Very excited to announce the sale of a New Marine 37 XP from one of our great broker, Alex. I'm so happy to work with Denison that has access to the New Marine and has been selling a 12 New Marine over the last 3 years. If you're considering buying a New Marine, book an appointment below. I went and I checked the New Marine factory last summer and I know the product well. Boom. You announce the sales from your friend broker and you get, right? And you get a call to action. So use also your friend boat sold. People love to see boat sold. People love to see success, but put a call to action next to it. Same here. One of my students, he didn't put a call to action. I told him, put a call to action. So here is what a call to action look like. Sold, beautiful apartment. See your 8-step process for buyers. Boom, you click here, right? Here's an example. I haven't seen it in boating, but I've seen real estate. So I put that. Strategy number 7, what's your plan email? I cannot emphasize enough about how powerful this email is. It's time of the year where all our clients are planning their boating goal. I want to be able to provide you with guidance so you can have more fun time on the water. Let me know where you're sitting at. Number 1, I have no plan. I want to sell my yacht. Number 2, I'm planning on keeping my yacht. I'm considering buying a new yacht. I'm considering putting my yacht for sale. This email is very powerful. This email is very powerful. What's your change? Any plan, right? Any plan, any change for the boating season. You can even send a 9-word email like this. Do you have any change for the boating season? 9-word email. You're going to have a lot of responses. So this student here sent it to 5,000 people. He got 400 responses. What I was telling you, and what I like to say is if you use a tool like Woodpecker, for instance, we could take this 400 response and transform it into a 2000 response. Because if we send a drip sequence, we can have more and more and more response. So this is very powerful. Strategy number 8, the direct reach. Whoever is closer to the consumer win. Answer questions that are going to the consumer mind right away. So I love this one. That's an anniversary email. Happy 1-year anniversary on the water. Happy anniversary. Every time you sell a boat, a year after, 2 years after, 3 years after, you're going to want to send an email like this. So happy anniversary on the purchase of your boat. I hope you've already made a lot of memory on the water. If there is anything I can help you, please don't hesitate. Also, as you know, boating is strongly based on relationship. If you know anyone who is planning on making changes boating season, I'd be honored to have you pass along my information. Great email. Another one, it's been too long. You reconnect with clients. Just so you're posting clean. It's been too long since we connected. As you know, the boating market is changing. Have you been thinking of making any changes boating season? Great message. Next, we have not spoken for a while. I want to check in and see how things are going. Very simple text message, very effective. Strategy number 9, testimonials and reviews. Strategy number 9, testimonials and reviews. So, studies shown that only 14% of people trust advertising, yet 78% trust their peers for recommendation. Recent survey for Bright Local, 2,000 consumers found that 88% of respondents read and used review to determine the quality of business. 78% of consumers trust review and 88% of them use them. In other words, more positive review equal more sales. So referrals economy, right? The review economy. Let's find out how we can get review. John, thanks for doing business together. If you have a couple of minutes while enjoying your favorite coffee, I would be so grateful to write a review here. Handwritten card is amazing for review. So you're going to do the handwritten card and you can send a Starbucks gift card. Clients love this. How can you get more review? John, thank you so much for letting me sell your boat. Please be sure to leave me a review here. If for any reason you feel I did not provide a 5-star service, please let me know so I can make it right. Very powerful. Now, I like to suggest to get some card, Starbucks card. You can go to starbucksb2b.com and buy the cards from there. Next, recommendation letter, reference letter. I really want you to gather as many reference letters as possible. This is a reference letter that we created ourselves, that we wrote ourselves, based on a yacht that we were selling. So that was when I was working on my brokerage company. So I wrote this myself based on exactly what happened, and we went to the owner and the owner signed it. And why? Because this, no shame doing this, because the owner, most of the time, they don't really have time to write a reference letter, but they will love to help you. So this is powerful. I would really recommend you to have as many reference letters as possible. Different type of yacht. If you have a big yacht, a small boat, a cruiser, right? Very important to have reference letters. Another one, congratulations again on the sale of your boat. I love working with you and I certainly hope I delivered my promise to provide you with a 5-star experience. If I did, I would appreciate you taking a moment to leave me a review. It's the best way for me to connect with and continue serving wonderful clients like you. What you're going to do here, you're going to give them a link of where you want the review and tell them, I know a blank state can be a little intimidating, so here's some ideas to get the ball rolling. What made you decide to choose me as a broker? What are the 3 things you did you like best about working with me? What would you recommend me to your family and friends? So you help them, you give them idea on what they can do. Another great thing here. So there is what the letter look like, right? If you look at this letter, Brian is the only thing I wrote with my pen. I wrote this letter one time. I use a scanner, use a printer, printed it. And then I write John, Mary, Brian, just with my pen. So that way I'm much faster. Strategy number 10, local SEO. Now, this is very powerful for you guys if you're working in small, like a different location, different office. Local SEO. Here is what you want to do. You go to business.google.com. You want to have a consistent NAP. What is NAP? The name, the address, and the phone number. The name, the address, and the phone number need to be consistent, need to be the same. What does that mean? You cannot have on your website a certain address and on your Facebook page a different address and on the directory a different address. You're going to add a listing for your office. You're going to put some photos. You want to add some photos of your team, of the boat you're selling. But what you're going to do is you're going to go to itouchmap.com or goimgr.com, and you're going to enter the GPS location of your exact address of your office. Now, what you're going to do that is going to crank your authority. You're going to get higher on the local SEO search engine because your photo is going to be tagged at the exact location where you have your address. Also, you're going to add 5 to 10 citations. So what is this citation? It's basically a directory. So if you can go to a business directory and you can add your brokerage service. So that's what a citation. You want to have like maybe 5 to 10 online, and that's when you're going to have kind of like some authority. Strategy number 11, gives them an incentive, a freebie. So I've seen all sorts of incentive in the boating industry, free drone video, free virtual tour, free survey, free photo shoot. So here is an example of a postcard you could do, just sold, a boat you sold. And then in the back, you say most buyer view your yacht for the first time that they see it online. Pictures they see form their first impression. As you know, impression matter. Because pictures are so important, I'm offering to take you free professional quality photo of your boat. 100% free, no obligation to list with me, right? So that can be a free photo shoot, a free boat detailing, a free whatever. Some people have free dockage, free survey. I've seen all sorts of free stuff. It can be a good incentive, sorry. Number 11, I love this one, video email or video message. What I use something called Big. So I'm going to do it here, and I'm going to tap Ian. So, and I shake it, and you see, up. And then I will do like this, and I will do my BombBomb video. So you want to go to this software called BombBomb, B-O-M-B, B-O-M-B. There's a few other software out there. Then I use this. I will wave my client name, and when my client sees the thumbnail, they just love it. And I always get comment on how original it is, how it captivates their attention, how much better it is than email, and you will going to differentiate yourself from the other people. There is an example, a broker did it. He said, I did it on my first video, I got a listing or something, right? So very powerful. I have a lot of brokers that got some sales and listing because they were using this and they really connected. Familiarity bias. Remember, it's about familiarity bias. I want to show you something actually. Talking about the familiarity bias, I'm going to show you something cool that I'm doing right now. It'll take a second. Up. Here we go. So this is my virtual office, right? I'm starting to build a virtual office. So when you arrive in my virtual office, just before you arrive, we're going to be on a video call together. And you're going to be able to go to a coffee machine here, get a free Starbucks machine before I come. Or here you can download a free report on the coffee table. And here you can see all sort of product and service that we're offering. But what I'm doing is I'm doing a little video standing like this. Right? Why? Familiarity bias. Even if I don't meet you in person, I want you to see me standing, talking, greeting you, and then I will come on a video call. So I tell you, welcome to my office. I'll be here in a few minutes. I will, let's go back here. But in the meantime, get yourself a free coffee and free report. So I give you something, you see me in person standing, and then I'm showing up on a video call, right? So this is why I really like video, and I'm a big lover of something like Bomb video, because I think it's awesome that people can see you before they are more likely to do business with you. Strategy number 13, be prepared for your listing appointment. So what you're going to do is, before your listing appointment, I really want you to be prepared. 5 most important things I want you to learn about is about the prospect, the market data, the listing script, and the pre-listing package. Very important. Very, very, very important that you prepare that. If you want to list some big boats, that's what's going to differentiate. Few things you want to do. Do not show that you're desperate to list a boat. Never. One of the things I tell the clients is like, look, I'm not here to list your boat. My main objective is to sell it, right? And then I'll tell you what I say, but I say, look, at the end of this meeting, there's 3 possibilities. You can accept the listing, you can refuse the listing, or I can refuse your listing, right? I don't show I'm desperate. Do your demonstration prior suggesting the listing price. Don't talk about the price right away. Say, if it's okay with you, I'll show you what we can help you with, and then we'll talk about the price, which, by the way, is not my decision, it's based on market data. Okay? Okay, boom. So you really pre-plan in advance. Number 3, never give your personal opinion about the price. Right? What do you think I should list at? I don't think. I don't make decisions based on price. Price are not based on my opinion. They're based on the market data, the nature of the market. We're switching from this market to this market. The inventory is becoming higher. Therefore, if you want to help other people sell their boats, we're going to put non-very attractive price. If you want to sell your boat, you need to have a realistic price. I would recommend this. Here's a market analysis. Boom. I completely dissociate myself from the opinion of the price. So let the market data answer the question. Show them that you're on their side, right? Say, look, I have no interest in pricing your boat less than you want, right? Like, I want sell the boat for the highest amount of money. So you're happy. So we get you the best sales, and we get paid in proportion of the price too, for fee for service. But I don't dictate the price. The marketplace does. And put them in your buyer's shoes. Educate them about the endowment effect. That's why you want to show them the graph. You want to talk about the time factor, right? Educate them. If you don't lead for a reasonable price, ask to have a written permission of price reduction. Very important. Listen and make it about them. This is very important, that during the listing presentation, you really listen and make it about them. And again, and I talked about that a few minutes ago, quality versus quantity. Would you rather have 90 listings and sell 10% of them, or have 10 listings and sell 90% of them? And I've had both. I've had companies where I had a lot of listings, few sales, and companies where I have fewer listings, higher sales. And it was much more fun. When I was selling the big yacht, we had maybe 10 listings. We were listing most of them during the year. And it was fun, right? So this is interesting. Remember that the law of gravity applied to sales too. Is much easier to influence a seller to lower the price to realistic market value than it needs to influence a buyer to pay more for a novel price boat. Pretty standard. Strategy number 14, positioning. The difference between a contact and a contract is R, and it stands for relationship. So make sure to start the meeting on a positive note. You're not here to chat about the weather or anything. You're here to show that you're a professional, and they're going to respect you for that. They're going to appreciate you for that. So how do you do this? Present your plan. This is how I do my presentation. Don't say a presentation, but this is how we conduct our meeting. I'll show you what we can do to help you with your boat, and then I'll show you what value for the boat we recommend, the market recommend, right? So you don't even say it yourself. Demonstrate that you're not desperate. Remember this line, very important. You have the opportunity to list your boat with us. You might decide not to list your boat with me, or I might decide not to take your listing. Very, very, very important. If you don't say number 3, usually you're going to struggle. Facebook Live, Facebook ads, pretty good, as long as you talk about the market. Again, I'm going to repeat that. Try to talk about the market. The more you talk about the market, and the more you talk about something that's going to interest people, the more attraction you're going to have. The more you're going to talk about the specific product, the less attraction you're going to have. So an excellent thing for Facebook Live forming will be to talk about the market update. Here is a market update about the market for this segment of boats, this and that. Strategy number 16, you can create a landing page. We've seen that. I was talking to you about Jeff Marin, trawler specialist. We created him a landing page a while ago about like buying a trawler, selling a trawler. So when you're on that page, you got authority, you got referral. I mean, you got reviews, and you got either 2 options, either buying or selling. So it's it was a pretty effective page. YouTube ads works great. YouTube is great. I understand Simon has been doing some YouTube ads too. It's pretty good. So why? Because you can target literally only to people that are watching, you know, boats and this type of boating video. Or so here's an example. Are you looking to buy a boat in Annapolis, in Cancun, in Miami? I'm Vincent from ABC Yacht Sales. So far, we've made record sales, or last couple of years have been record sales, but market is changing. So what does that mean for you? What does that mean for the value of your boat? You can talk a little bit about the market. If you're looking to save time and money, I would love to give you an information package. I have a comparative market analysis. I have some graphs that are really valuable to you that will really show you how to maximize value of your boat. Make sure to reach out to me, right? Very good. Talk about the market. Listing package. I really recommend you guys to have a listing package. 5 goals of a listing package: demonstrate expertise, share social proof, demonstrate authority, build trust, reduce or remove the client's fear. So what's in the listing package? Typically, you have a customer-oriented bio, 10 reasons why. That's a good one. That's an easy one. 10 reasons why. You can go to ChatGPT right now, say, hey, 10 reasons why you should use a broker, and they'll give you, and then you make it at your own sauce. That can be very easy to do, very powerful. Copy of a listing agreement. You have that. Business card. You have that. Test. You can have a QR code, business card. Written testimonials. You should have that. If you don't have one for you, use some for your firm, right? You can use some for your firm. And you can write testimonial about my firms and me. Reference letters, brief overview of marketing activities, initiative, guarantee. I'm strong with guarantee. When I was selling Yacht, we had a guarantee that within 3 months they had 90 leads, or they could get off, right? Or I think it was 60 leads or something, or they could get off the listing agreement. So we had a performance review after 2 or 3 months, and we were telling them, like, if we don't reach 60 leads for that, you can get off. And we were working hard, and we knew how to get leads, so that was good. Booklet. You can have a little booklet, 25 tips to sell your boat faster. Again, ChatGPT. You can ask ChatGPT, tell me 25 tips to sell your boat faster. He gives you 25 things. Ask them to expand on each, make it your own sauce, and boom, you have your 3 or 4 page document, 25 tips. You know, now with ChatGPT, you can have your things done very fast. If you want to learn more about how to use ChatGPT, I did a YouTube video called how to use ChatGPT for broker and why it's so powerful, and you'll see. And resource, that's pretty good. Detailing company, mechanic, marine electronic registry in your area. That's very powerful. And you do it once, and a brochure. So you see, all those things are things you can, yeah, it will take you a little bit of time. And once you do it, it's done forever. And your people will love it, right? A photo of you and your family with a thank you note. And what I would do, maybe if you want to leave them a little gift, There is a book here, Blue Mind, that is great book. I have another book that I bought. It was like 42 reasons, honey, why we should buy a motorcycle. It was I found that on Amazon. It was pretty cool. And I'm like, oh, someone should write this book about boating. 42 reasons why we should buy the boat, darling. You know, a book like that, you write it with ChatGPT, and boom, you publish it, and you have your own little booklet. And every time you have a listing appointment, you will give something like this. It will take you a little bit of time, you know, to do it, but then every single time you will use, and that will help you. Strategy number 19, leverage all leads and incoming leads. So are you planning on making any change this boating season? Are you planning on selling your boat this season? 9-word email. We talk about the 9-word email a lot, but this is just so powerful. People respond 9-word email because it's short, personal, expecting a reply, just like a text message. This I love, guys. This is called a matchmaking email. Every time you show something, tell people, hey, I'm showing this boat this weekend to this person. And there is very few of those boats available. Do you know anyone that has a similar boat? Right? Or do you know anyone that wants to see it? I'm showing this boat this weekend. Do you know anyone that wants to see it? Just have a little conversation like this with people, right? Showing them where you are at, what you're doing, and it's good. Treat every single lead as a potential client for a future listing. In order to do so, make sure to fill up a form or CRM to necessary information. So I've seen some brokers, they told me they did that. Every time they had a new lead, they were entering them and they were keeping, like for matchmaking, like a big file. So I thought it was interesting. And so I asked them how they were doing. Like every time I have a lead, I ask them a few questions, right? Try to pre-qualify them. And I thought it was cool. Strategy number 20, educational booklet. I did write one. I found one at the boat show and I did write one. It was awesome. It took me a while to write it, but it was like really good. And I used it a lot. I was using it all the time. So I'm really happy. And I'm going to give you a copy of that book. And I want you to steal as much stuff as you possibly want from that book because I'm the one that wrote it. And I see my business partner is still using it, but I want you guys to use whatever you want from that book because this is my content. That's my stuff. A virtual seller consultation can be good. You could put your own logo here and say, look, if you want to sell, I have a virtual seller consultation, which is a non-pressure half-an-hour call. I talk about the market mainly. I ask you a few questions and you can define if it's the right time to sell your boat. Look how cool it is. Or virtual buyer consultation. If you are looking for buying a boat, you know, this can be very overwhelming. There are so many boat buyers. I mean, there are so many boats for sale. There are so many shipyards. There are so many brokers. I just have a list of 16, 20 questions. I ask you, and I'm going to send you a list of questions, by the way, that will help you. It's a list of 36 questions that you can ask buyers to help you buy the boat of your dream. So virtual buyer consultation. Again, non-pressure online consultation, and that's very powerful. Join a webinar. You can create a webinar. What's happening in the boating market, prediction for the market, 5 pillars to maximize your sales price. Okay, there is tons of things you can say, but that can also be a good strategy to have a little webinar or something. Strategy number 21, which I believe it's our last one, and it's very simple one. It's a common sense one, but if you want more listings, spend more time into commercial time trying to get listings, right? Have you heard about the Pareto rule? Pareto rule states that 20% of the things yield 80% of the result. But did you know that the Pareto rule is fractal, which means that there is a Pareto inside the Pareto? And now just 4% of the things you do is going to yield, I think, 64% of the result, right? So now it's really powerful. There's a few things you do is going to yield high result. And the problem is why I have my focus sign behind is we live in a society today that is completely lost this ability to pay attention and focus. A Wall Street study over 3 our National Football League broadcast found that the viewer actually saw only 11 minutes of game during this 3-hour broadcast. They saw commercial for 63 minutes, shot of the player for 67 minutes, 35 minutes showing coach, crowd, and cheerleader, 15 minutes of replay, and only game action, 11 minutes. So is that okay to spend 11 minutes of game to have a 3-hour of your time? I mean, if it's entertainment, okay, I understand, but we cannot have this philosophy during work, right? So if we want to sell, if we want to get some listings, we need to apply those formulas, and we need to identify what formula is yielding us the highest number of listings, and we need to do it more of it. And so this is how we go into a little Q&A here on how to get listings. So let's start with you, Ian. Any question for listings?
Yeah, I guess my biggest question on listings, well, I guess kind of answered by that packet, is really just to try to get people who, especially in our area, like in Florida, there's a million brokers, but here there aren't. So I think that's the biggest thing, is trying to get someone who has a boat and they are shopping their listing around, because most people don't shop their listing around. To why they should pick you as opposed to somebody else who they may otherwise have a pre-existing relationship with.
Yes. Okay. I think that's a great question. And for me, it would be the professionalism, right? Like the way, like you want to blow them away by how educated you are about the market and the listing and the selling process. And that's why those graphs are so important, because I've never seen any broker using those graphs. I worked so hard to come up with all those graphs, guys. I did so much research and stuff like that. And then once I found out, I'm like, wow. And then I tried myself when I went to this listing appointment of this $1 million boat, and I was using like, look, at the end of the day, maybe I can refuse to take your listings. And I could see they starting to lean in toward me, like they are more interested about me. And I'm showing the graph analysis, and I'm like, look, that's not my opinion. I don't have any opinion of your price. They're leaning even more forward, and they start smiling and stuff. And then they give me the listings, and I'm like, yes, that's what they want, right? The summary of this little listing training that we did an hour is exactly what people want. They don't want a drama. They don't want to. And they need a reminder, because they know about the ownership effect. We all know that. I mean, I have 2 boats here at the marina. I know that I always overvalue my boats because I own them, right? We all do that. We do that with our kids. We do that with everything we own, right? So this is, for me, this, if there is one word about this training, about listing, is professionalism. I want you guys to be more professional. And that's why when I got the testimonial from Gordon, which was an amazing testimonial, he said something like, oh, my client listed the boat for that price, and they told me that they would never even have thought listing the boat at their price, but they sold it at that price because I showed them the graph. In other words, what Gordon did is he was professional. And there is no buyer's remorse. I mean, seller's remorse in that case. They are not like, oh, I should have sold with another broker. They know that he sold it at the right price because he knew the market, he knew the market data, and he was professional. So my goal in putting this training together is, of course, to give you listing strategy, but bring your level of professionalism much, much higher. Because I see way too many brokers being just like, it doesn't matter. I can try to list your boat. This guy can try to list your boat. There is no real differentiation, right? So that's what I would like to add for listings, right? Gordon.
So my question would be about the current market. So usually people keep their boats about 5 years. If you bought a boat 5 years ago and you were considering selling now, the prices have gone up so much over the last 3 or 4 years, and the interest rates are so much higher now that if you were to sell your boat, you might, come close to breaking even or whatever, but your ability to move into a boat usually they want to go up in size or newer or whatever it is, but their affordability, they might be down a tier. So how do you talk to that person about selling their boat when they want to stay in boating, right? If somebody's getting out of boating and they're not using enough or whatever, that's an easy conversation. But with limited availability out there to choose from, they might not be able to find what they want, and they might not be able to afford it now. So how do you speak to those people?
That's a great question. Well, what I would do is, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow, is when you start really talking about what is important to them, right? And not just really trying to identify what they want. And they are so much more likely to pull the trigger or to change something when they really know what they want.
Yeah,
If
so
they are still
identifying their
wanting
goal.
to stay, if they are still in the rational, you want to bring them in the emotional. If they are in the emotional, they're going to be more likely to move toward what they really want. So in response to your question, we're going to talk about this more tomorrow into the what's happening in the brain of a clients during the sales, and what can we do as a salesperson to bring them in an area where they want to make some change. They want to really reach and get what they want.
Right. So highlight their pain point and then act as the rational side.
Yeah, if you keep, I mean, talking about the market and stuff, it's great, but it's very rational what we're doing here, because we need a rational decision to put their boat for sale. Selling a boat is more kind of like a rational. It needs to be more. Your role is to be a rational machine when you're selling, and I mean when you are getting listings, and when you're helping them buy, you're an emotional, right? You bring them to the emotional side. So
Sell them.
one
Selling
side of the sale is rational, what the listing aspect is rational, the selling aspect is emotional. If you notice, my presentation here is fucking rational. It's all about graphs, all about metrics, all about data, all about market data, all about removing yourself from it. It's not my decision, it's a market that decide. Very, very, very rational. But tomorrow, when we're going to talk about the sales, it's going to be about the emotion, about the family, about spending life on the time, beautiful time on the water. It's going to be extremely emotional, right? And your role as a broker is to balance with selling with the rational and helping buy with the emotional, right? Because we try to detach themselves from the emotional here with this graph, because endowment effect is the emotional. The problem is emotional. When we bring them to the rational, that's when we're going to have the sale of the listing, right? So that's an excellent question you had, because this is playing with the two pole of the brain. One part of the brain is for the listing, one part of the brain is for the sale. Left brain, right brain, right?
Well, that's the tip of the presentation so far. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's exactly, you pinpointed perfectly, right? Like that's a right brain training, tomorrow left brain training. It's like up and so your role is to bring him to one side of the brain, or bring him, you're going to get the listing one side of the brain, you're going to get the sale the other side of the brain. So in response to your question, you're going to have to play with the both side of the brain, depending on what you want, right? Excellent question. I'm really glad actually you bring that question, because I'm going to write that side of the brain. Listing versus selling. Simon, listing, any question?
Yeah, I'm still thinking about clarity.
About what?
Clarity, to be clear with yourself about
Yes.
what you want. So do you think that your own clarity is connected with the listing? I mean, find the clients that are similar to you. I mean, more you are clear with yourself, and better quality clients you can find. That's what.
Yeah, I think
Is the
that
connection, I guess.
what you want to do is, every time you are in a conversation with a client about the listing, you want to be extremely transparent and vulnerable also, like showing them that you detaching yourself from the expectation of making a sale, detaching yourself from the expectation of making a sale.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing to do. If they feel that you want to get the listing because you want to make a quick buck, it will be very hard. But if they feel like you're here to help them sell their boats and that you understand the dynamic of the market and you're a facilitator, and it's not going to be your opinion, it's going to be the market, that will help you lots. So connection is very important for listings, right? But I think that they don't want to list it to the nice guy. They want to list it to the professional guy. It's like heart surgery. If you have to choose between two heart surgeons, are you going to go with a nice guy or the guys that really make you feel he understands his craft? You're going to go for the guys that really understand his craft, right? And the more we are dealing with higher price boats, the more we have to, the nice guy aspect is going to be removed, and they're going to expect you to be professional. That's why I think bringing professionalism is very important in this listing training. And that's why I think you should regularly look at it. You should prepare a listing package, have all those graphs ready, and work on that until you drift it, right? So let's have a break. So it's noon. We're gonna have now 7-minute break, 8-minute break, a little bit longer. Our last part is not too long because it's mainly stuff that I'm gonna give you. So actually, let's have a 10-minute break. So it's 10:59. And we reconnect at 11:09, and we'll have the last 50 minutes, which is our step 4. But we'll make great progress so far, guys. Really proud of you. So, but let's have a little bit longer break if you want to stretch your leg or have a little bite or something, and we'll reconnect in 10 minutes. Okay? Talk soon, guys. Oh, guys, I was talking for so long and I realized that, yeah, I actually started full on. I was actually talking and okay, sorry guys. So content creation, we are now at step number 4. So I'm very excited about this one. I've been doing social media for a while, right? We were one of the first to have a $100,000 follower page in Facebook. It was 2011, like over 12 years ago. When we had a YouTube channel, we had one of the first million view YouTube channel in the boating industry. We had something called Daily Marine News. So every day we were recording in my office. My assistant was recording a little video with boating news. I did the same with Twitter. We did a lot, Instagram. So I've always experimented a lot with social media. And what I've found is social media is really key to boating industry, right? We're an industry of emotion. We're an industry of exchange, an industry of people, industry of passion, and the industry very visual where you want to share. And social media is perfect for us. So when I ask people, what's the biggest boat show in the world? Most of them say it's Fort Lauderdale, but it's not Fort Lauderdale, it's not Miami, it's not Düsseldorf. The biggest boat show in the world is social media, right? And this is what you want to do as a sales professional. You want to have access to this boat show. So per 365 days of the year, it's free to attend. And you want to create content and social conversation there. You want to have a presence. You want to generate leads, generate listings, generate conversation. And that's what is really going to make the difference. A few years ago, and when I started as a boat broker, I was always wondering, because I'm trying to remember, like, where did I get my leads for when I was boat broker in 2007, 2006, 2008? And it was mainly from Craigslist, from Boat Trader, from Yacht. But today, you as brokers, they tell you, well, it's Facebook, Google, Instagram, YouTube, right? So they're the new Yacht, they're the new Boat Trader, or the new Craigslist. But people that are on social media are not on social media to buy a boat, right? People who are buying boats are on social media. That's the main thing we need to understand. And that's why that's why we talk about the market. We have to entertain them. We talk about what's interesting, not just what they want to buy, because they're not going there to buy something. They're going there to be informed, to be entertained, and eventually along the way, they'll buy or sell something. So sales is about B2B. It's not about B2B or B2C. Sales is about H2H. It's about human to human. So I tell people, I'm like, I want you to change your database into human base, right? That's really like, some people, they have a small social connection, but very powerful human base. I'll give you an example. Gordon, she works in your firm. Her name is Laura Unsell. She's a lovely lady. Laura, well, I went to see a boat show so many times. She was working for Hampton. She was a receptionist. She was an office manager there, and her name is Unsell. And she was always making this joke like, those guys sell me, I unsell, right? And then she ended up becoming like very successful broker. She's selling some big boats now, some big Hampton boats, and she's doing wonderful using social media. She doesn't have a big audience, but she's very, very engaging, beautiful content. I would really recommend you to follow her. And I really like what she's doing. And I think it's a good representation of what this industry is, right? It's not necessarily a big number of people, but it's about really being connected to people, and it's about human to human. So it's not about database, it's about human base. So what I want to share with you today, I want to share the Boat Broker 365 days social media calendar. So I'm going to take the link here. I'm going to paste the link maybe in my I'm going to paste it here, and I'm going to show you how it works. Bigger screen here. So the way this calendar works is, here you have the resources. So you have a report that I wrote, you have the book that I wrote, you have the cost of ownership formula, you have a yacht buyer questionnaire. That's a thing. So don't forget, here you have the resource. Very important to access, because you're going to need the resource when you look at the calendar. And then you have all the months here. So you got 365 days of ID of content, basically, essentially. So Sunday is a listing spotlight. Sunday will be a day where we promote a listing, for instance. Monday will be an expert day where we position ourselves as an expert. Tuesday will be a buyer day. We help buyer. We help to help buyer. Wednesday is a self-promotion day. selfishly self-promote yourself. Thursday is a seller day, Friday is an expert day, and Saturday is a personal day. And there is some idea like this through the whole year. Now, you don't have to follow this word by word. You don't have to follow this day by day. You don't have to follow this. You can maybe have more categories, right? If you're a mechanic and you want to talk about mechanic on board boats, go ahead. Talk about mechanic Monday can be, right? If you like sailing, you can talk about sailing Saturday or whatever topic you want to talk about. This is just an idea, right? But I want to show you how it works. So, for instance, how do survey works? You guys do survey all the time. But me, I'm a boat buyer. I buy one boat every 6, 7, 10 years. I don't really know how survey works. I bought a boat 7 years ago. I forgot how survey works. How about you walk me through a survey? Hey, this is Gordon, and today I want to walk you through a survey. One of the big essential part of buying a boat is using a surveyor. Now, what I realized over the years, selling a lot of boats, is that majority of the sales professional of the buyers or sellers are not very familiar with survey. So here is typically how does it go with a survey. Today we're going to do a survey, and I'm going to walk you through the typical survey day, right? And you walk them through. You show a few photos, a few videos, or something, and you share. So that can be an expert Friday. Or explain why your boating niche and who you best serve. So let's say I'm Jeff Miller, I'm the trawler specialist. And today I'm going to explain to you why I decided to work in the niche of trawler. And well, when I was 24, I was a crew and I did a trip on many boats. And one day I went on a trawler boat and went really slow, but really took the time to see things. And I realized that day that that's what I love. I love trawler. And since then, I've been passionate about trawler. I've been all the trawler factories, right? And this is what I do. I'm Jeff Murrow as a trawler specialist, right? Like that would be my Friday, my expert Friday. Why do brokers use multiple listing sites, right? You can talk about what I just said. Like, hey, a few years ago, majority of the business were coming from Yacht World, boat trader, but now due to the nature of the market, there's a lot of business that comes from social media, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, but MLS is still a big part of a business. That's why we like to use MLS. So let me walk you through. There is usually 2 or 3 MLS. The biggest one are Yachtco and Yacht World and Boat Trader. Typically, the problem that you can find in MLS, some boats are listed multiple times because you're open listing. So what I would recommend you, if you list your boat, is just have one dedicated broker so there is no recurrence in the boat. And right, so you can educate a little bit. You don't need to talk too long, even if it's a short minute video. And before looking, what is the first steps toward buying a boat? So sometime you're going to notice I have a little store and I give you some suggestions. So let's go, for instance, here. If you see a little store, where can we see? There, the boat sales equation. Hey, this is Ian, and today we're going to talk about the boat sales equation. So then you click on here, the boat sales equation, and page 27. You click here, you go to page 27, and you're going to have everything explained. You can read the script, you can do a little video about it. Content is here to help you, right? So I'll go to March. Why have a boat buyer questionnaire? And then a little store here, and you see the boat buyer questionnaire. Up the boat buyer questionnaire here. You open it, and you have all the great questions you can ask. Okay, so that's a boat buyer questionnaire. Up, bunch of great questions. Why I have a boat buyer questionnaire? When I work with buyers, I realize most of the time they're extremely overwhelmed. If you go on LinkedIn right now, you find 12,000 brokers. If you want to build a boat over 24 meters, there's over 1,000 choices you can have around the world. They're just in Center Console in Florida, there's like 67 or 100 shipyards, right? The boating industry can be very overwhelming, very confusing. So for that reason, I created something called a buyer questionnaire. I spent a lot of time put a list of 30 questions that I help my clients to really define what they really want. Sometimes it's not about the boat, it's about what you really want. So if you really take the time to ask the question, who you like to do your boating with, what's the most important thing to you, how do you like to spend a great day on the water? When I ask this question, my clients, it really helped my client define what they really want, and I can make sure that the boat they buy is exactly what they're looking for, so they have no buyer's remorse and more fun time on the water, right? So this is a quick video you can do, and you have all the elements there. So, right, everything from January to December, 365 ideas. So here the time factor, I was talking to you today about the time factor. You see time factor, page 10 and 11. You go, page 10, 11, have the time factor. When you're selling a boat, time play a role for 3 reasons. Number 1, this, number 2, this, number 3, that. For that reason, when I help you sell your boat, I want to help you sell your boat for the maximum value in minimum time. Okay, so you have all idea of content here. I hope you can use it, and I hope you can make the best use of it. There is literally 365 idea. Sometimes there is also some little suggestion for New Year, for Christmas, whatever, different celebration you can have during the year. So that's our boat broker calendar. Let's keep going. I got more for you guys. So I'm going to give you the link and you'll have it. Next, I didn't want to just give you a calendar. I also wanted to create a post for you. So I asked my team to put together those templates for post templates, but also stories templates. We use Canva. Canva is the #1 design company in the world. It's very to use. Even if you're not a designer or you can work with your assistant, they can use it. It's extremely easy to use. So if you click on the link here, it will bring you to the Canva template. I think it costs like maybe $9 a month or something to use the Canva. And you can just use it, or maybe it's free, I don't know, but I think my team paid $10 a month or something. And you can change the color. If you don't like this color, you can put your own color, your own color code, or your own logo. But essentially, I have a collection of posts that are pre-made for you. So what do we have? We have just listed when you have new listings. What else do we have? We have quotes. If you want to share some quotes on Instagram, TikTok, sometimes LinkedIn can be good. We have testimonials, very powerful testimonials. A lot of testimonials you can use here. You can put your client's photo, you can put testimonials. We have just sold, and don't forget to put a call to action in the text. Just sold. We have Instagram post and stories template for questions. We have questions you can also use on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, questions. We have meet the team, if you work with a team or something. We have notification and reminders. This can be really good. If you want to ask them question, you post your question here and put reply below or something. This can be really good. Features. When you have a new boat, you want to mention some features. A great boat. Buyer and seller tip. You can find a lot of buyer and seller tip in the book. The book PDF, the ebook that I wrote, that I put there. Gallery. Instagram post and story template can be good too for galleries of boats. Okay, so that's what you got for templates. Each of the template, if I click on here, stories or post, it will bring me to Canva and I will have all my list of templates. So that's really good. Next, sometimes people tell me, I don't know what to post about. I don't know what to post about. I don't know what to post about. Let's fix that. I'm going to give you 100 post idea for when you're a boat broker. There you go. You got 50 here and 50 here. Show interview of a boat buyer, interview a boat seller, show your customer service philosophy, explain the finance pre-approval. You have a lot of idea here, all sort of idea, everything adapted to boat sales professional. You can have tons of content here. voting with your pet, voting for senior, both buying process, but same process, interview with local surveyor. That can be good. Interview with a local boat surveyor, interview with a local boat finance professional. Next time you have a survey, take your camera, say, hey, you don't mind if I ask you a few questions? And ask them, hey, for the people that don't know how the survey process works, can you walk you through a typical survey day? Yeah, okay, what's the main thing you find going wrong in a boat in a survey? What do you like the most when you do a survey? Like, what is the best recommendation for people when they put their boat for sale so the survey goes smooth? Maybe you will say clean the boat, or do this, or tidy the boat, or that you will help them, right? So that can be a list of 3 or 4 questions. That's great. Same with the insurance guy, same with the finance guy, same with the shipyard guy. You can have a little series of interview. So you have a lot of idea of content here. Next, let's talk about equipment. Number one, I would recommend you is to start with a microphone, right? If you want to start doing some content, especially some video, I want you guys to have a good microphone. So microphone, I recommend the little Bluetooth microphone. There are some Rode one, but they're expensive and stuff. I would recommend this little Bluetooth one. I had this one for many years. Love Hey Mic. I bring it at boat show all the time, and decent sound. Or I recommend this Apple EarPod. You just take one, not 2. You put it, and that's how you record your video, right? You try to not be too visible, but I think it's really good. So number one is microphone. Make sure to have a microphone. And because it's an online game, you need to have one. So if you don't have one, buy one, right? Buy EarPod or buy a little Hey Mic, but I want you to have a good microphone. So next time you go to a boat show, next time you go to a boat, the worst thing you can do in boating is have a video with a bad sound, like you can hear the noise of the wind, or you can hear some background noise, and so it's very important to have a good sound. Next, ring light. Give me a favor, order yourself a little ring light. Like, I know it looks cheesy, like influencer light. No, every time you have a Zoom meeting or something, you put it behind your computer, you turn it on, and it will be so much better. People can see you. You look like in a better mood. And this is very important that you have the little light like this. Or when you want to do a video from home or from the office, you can hold the thing. And so this is $40. Something like this is $40 on Amazon, and always comes a long way. Smartphone. Well, I'm not going to talk much about smartphone, but nowadays all the smartphones have some good video, right? So just make sure to have one that has a decent quality camera, because you're going to do a lot of video with your phone most of the time. If you go to marina, if you go in sea trials, stuff like that, and you want to have a decent camera. One thing I like this center cam, because I do a lot of video meeting now, and it was an Indiegogo, or like not an Indiegogo, but what is it called, a Kickstarter. And I bought it and I put it in the middle of my screen. And when I had Zoom call, I was really connecting with people because I could see them in the eye, and I was really looking straight in the camera. So they're a little bit expensive for what they are, but I think it's a great idea. And I think they might have come now with a second version. Now I have a dual screen, so I cannot have it anymore because I cannot put the, but when I had single screen and a big screen, I was using it. I really liked it. Next, the webcam. Well, I use a good webcam, right? Like especially if you have a standalone PC or Mac, like make sure to have a good one. I would really recommend you to, and yesterday I made a post with my group, like, hey, if you are both a professional, you work with this brand, reach out to me, because we have this software now that can help you sell boats from the office and showing boats while doing video tour. So it's very important to try to spend as much time possible now on video call. Familiarity bias. Remember that word, familiarity bias. Very, very important. Green screen. I have one of those. I bought the exact same one. Actually, it's pretty good. Sometimes I use it. And you remember when I show you me standing in my virtual office? I use this. I just put it up with my iPhone. I recorded the video, removed the green screen, and boom, I was standing in my virtual office. So now it's very easy to use, and that can be powerful. A lot of people now doing overlay video, like Twitch. You know, if you go Twitch, like people they talk on top of people that play video game. But I think if you talk on top of a video of a boat, that can be good. So you can create your own walkthrough based on somebody walkthrough. So let me give you an example. You sell Jeannot. Jeannot Factory is doing a walkthrough. What you can do is put yourself on top of this walkthrough explaining the boat. So without even going out of the office, you have your own walkthrough of the Jeannots that you maybe even never seen before, right? So you have more content. DJI stabilizer. Stabilizer is pretty good. I would really recommend you guys to have one. And yeah, they're pretty handy, easy to use, and maybe some of your friends can help you record, but they're good. So walkthrough. I want you guys to do more walkthroughs. Social media platforms are promoting video like crazy right now. They want more video content. Not too many people are doing video, so it's an advantage of you. If you post a walkthrough on LinkedIn, you're gonna get a lot of views because like LinkedIn is really promoting video. A lot of people are shy when it comes to LinkedIn, so when you post a good quality video, you can get a lot of views. You can show how much so much about the boat in 3-4 minute video. What I would recommend you is to have like a short video, like 3 or 4 minutes, and also a long form video. Sometime when I was selling Yacht, I was doing like a 4-5 minute video, and then I was telling people, if you want to learn more about the yacht, contact me. I'll send you the 45 minute or 1 hour video, and I would do an informal 1 hour video all around the boat, and that would really help me to sell the boat. The perfect walkthrough script. I'm going to send you, I have actually the form here. It's a lot of suggestion to help you to do some nice walkthrough script, but I use something called the hook formula I created myself. It's hook spelled H-O-O-K. So number one, the hook, you captivate people's attention right from the start. Number two, so like, do you know what you get when you mix this and that? You get this wonderful boat. My name is Vincent from ABC Yacht Sales, and today I'm going to walk you through this latest boat, right? So then you do your opening right after the hook. Then you put an offer. Like, don't describe the boat, describe them on the boat. What does that mean by offer? It's like, you're not trying to sell the boat. You're trying to sell the viewer on the boat. One of the things you're going to love about this boat is there are hundreds of great things I can tell you about this boat, but this definitely got my attention. Most of the people that see this boat absolutely love this. Have you ever been on a boat and you are not very comfortable? Well, one of the things you're going to love about here is there is so much space here. Or have you, if you're an experienced boater, you know how important stability is. One of the great things about this is it comes standard with Seakeeper, right? So you don't just say it's awesome, there is Seakeeper. You say, if you're an experienced boater, you want better stability, one of the great things about this boat, it comes with Seakeeper, right? So you make it about them, about them, about them. That's how you do a great walkthrough video. And closing, you have a call to action. If you want to receive more about information about this boat, I have a full buyer awareness package. Email me and I'll send you all the detail, right? Or if you want to have the long form video, I also recorded a 45-minute video about that boat. Email me, I'll send you the 45-minute video. Next thing what I want to tell you is I have a lot of sample here from video is just do as many as you can, right? You're going to suck at it? Probably. Everybody suck when they do something new, right? Michael Jordan, when he started basketball, I'm sure he was sucking at it, right? So the first few videos be hard, but then you continue doing it, continue, and then you'll get better at it, and then you'll have some good, good traction. So what I'm going to do, let's go back. I'm going to see my script here. If I click on it, yeah, so I'm going to give you this script. You see the hook method, where everything is explained on how to do a proper video. And here I give you a lot of suggestions, like one of the most telling yacht functional galley. A lot of nice line from a lot of copywriting that I read. I read a lot of articles about boats and stuff, and I put a lot of a missile with 5,276 horsepower. Right. Okay, so we got this. And now also what I want to give you, I have something else to give you to help you write great boat listings. It is this one, which has been written by Paul, that works with me, he's our marketing manager at Yacht Academy. He's a copywriter, and he wrote this book, Quadruple Your Listing Exposure with Proper Writing on Your Listings, right? He's really good at writing listing presentation, and he gave you a lot of suggestion. So if someone do your writing for your own listings, which should be ChatGPT, by the way, because, and I show that in my video, you can ask ChatGPT, write me something about a Sunseeker 73 with 4 cabin and a hydraulic swim platform, and you click enter. ChatGPT is going to give you a descriptive of the boat, but you can also read the report, and easier give information about ChatGPT, say use more emotional trigger words such as this and this and this, or right, you can make the change yourself, and then you're going to have yourself some really good listing presentation. When you have some listing, or even when you sell new boats, sometimes people that sell new boat, they don't really have good material or copywriting from the factory. So I'm also going to give you this report. So quick recap about today, the content. So we saw all the different materials, we saw the post ID, we saw all the different post types that I gave you the templates, and we also got the 365-day calendar. So that's a lot that we got for today. I don't want to give you more because I know this is more than enough for you to really get started with content. The advice that I can give you is put yourself out there. Yes, you're going to be uncomfortable, but if you're not uncomfortable improving your boat sales, then you are doing something wrong, right? Sometimes it's going to be hard to put your face. Sometimes it's going to be hard to do a video when you feel you're not natural. You feel like, the factory is doing better, but people want to see you. People want real connection. So that's really what I would recommend you. So let's have some questions for this section now. Can start with you, Yen. You're on the top.
Yeah, so so all this is going to be in the email that you're going to send, or
yes? So I'm going to send you an email today with a replay of the 4-hour YouTube replay that will take a while to upload, but I will upload it. It will be a YouTube link, a private YouTube link for you guys, and then I will send all those material with the replay. Okay, so you have everything, and it will be the title will be replay day 1 for first step, and all those first steps you can access here with all the material. So what's your biggest challenge when it comes to content creation, Ian?
I think the biggest thing is really just figuring out how to do it efficiently. Like I'll do social media posts and things like that. But I don't know, like when you guys do it more professionally, do you do it on a desktop using something, or do you do it just like from your phone semi-spontaneously? You just know, like, yeah, you got to take 10 minutes to do a social media post. Like what's the
usually what I do is I do it in advance because I've created so much content over the years, so I have a lot, but I try to so I have a folder when I have all my photos, and then I have some quotes that I like, and then I'm giving my assistant, I'll be like, hey, I like this quote, can you use this photo? And she will go on Canva and create something. For my video, what I was doing for my walkthrough is I had this guy from India. I've been working with him for many years. I was recording a raw video, and I was asking him, I say, here is a floor plan of the boat. Here is a video from the factory. Make sure if you use the footage of the factory to put credit Viking Yacht, for instance. And I'm like, make me a compilation, not a compilation, but like a video about this boat. So it was me at the boat show. It was basically like really improving the quality of my video. It was putting an intro, it was putting some footage from Viking, but it was putting a copyright Viking yacht. Then it was putting the floor plan. And from a regular video that a friend of mine will record at the boat show, which was not fancy or anything, no one that know, it would make me a really nice video. And I was paying him like maybe $50 or $60 for video, $100, I don't remember, but it was like a really good price because it was working from India, but and I've been using it for many years. So that's what I would recommend you, is to find a freelancer online that can help you video and your social media, but don't ask them to do all your social media. You're gonna ask them to enhance it, right? You give them the quote, you give them the photo, you give them the footage, and you ask them to enhance. The problem is people, they do the opposite. They're like, find me a quote, find me some footage. You know, it will not work, right? It has to come from you, authenticity, intimacy. If it comes from you, you ask people to improve it, it will work. If it's the opposite, it will not work. Excellent. Gordon.
Yeah, I don't really have a question right now. There's a lot to digest there. It's good to see some things that I'm already doing there and how to improve on them. As far as social media goes, it really, I think, is the, like, when it comes to promoting a listing, I need to get better at setting expectations with the seller on what they really need to do before we're ready to start doing all the marketing and making them get their boats cleaned and cleared out and staged and all of those things. Once those things are done, it makes it a lot easier to make a nice presentation. But when you have people who are dragging their feet, it makes it much more of a challenge to put a nice package together to market something that doesn't look good to begin with.
Yes.
So I think that's where I need to improve, is getting that conversation across, and then these tactics will be easier to put into place and to get their boats sold in a timely fashion, which is what they want.
And a question for you, like, are you doing walkthrough?
Yeah, actually, we use Kula, which is a 360 tour hosting, and we've had a lot of success with that on the new boat side as far as being able to get people tours. But what you can do there is combine the two and let people tour the boat themselves in the 360. They click on something, and then there's a video of you explaining it or showing the boat under power or whatever it is. You know, you can do a 10-second, 15-second video instead of having to do a full walkthrough, and it's more of a tour of the boat individually. So that's my next exercise to take, to try to combine all the technologies together. And those can be hosted now on Yacht World. They have the ability to do the 360 tours there. So
that's good. What is it called? Kula?
Kula is just a 360 tour hosting. If you go to our Crusader page, you'll see we have all the different, manufacturers. Each boat that we bring in, we'll do a 360 tour of it. So we have different cabin layouts and things that we can share with clients. Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Like we went to the Dusseldorf show, and have tours that the manufacturers don't have yet.
Yes, that's good. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, so that's anyway, combining the walkthrough video with that 360 tour, I think, would be a powerful tool.
Yeah, it is. And that's the new tool we have. It's called VO Meet, which is like you invite the clients on board the boat and you're on a video call with them. So it's essentially you and I are watching the virtual tour together. I'm the salesman, so I control the virtual tour. So when I move around, you move with me. When I'm looking at the galley, you look at the galley. But we're on a video call together. That's a new tool that we created. It's called VO Meet. Yeah. Cool. Simon.
Yeah. So my question is, how can I find a guy from India for editing my video or my photos?
Uh,
Is a channel or
yeah, the best would be Fiverr.
Ivor, yeah.
Well, I think we didn't find it. I used to have one from Ukraine. It was really good. His name was Denis. And that's when my brokerage company and my business partner found him because he had really good videos. And we found it on freelancer.com. And then I think I found Varun on Fiverr. And he has been really good. I've been using it for many years, and Cornelius is still, my old business partner is still using him as of today. And sometimes I use him also. I don't do as much video as I used to because I don't travel as much. So I'm trying to do more video now from the office. I really like to do video from the office. And my goal will be to do more video about the market and less video about the boat. So but yes, that's a good question. I will go on fiverr.com. There is a lot of them, freelancer.com, maybe even Etsy. There is a lot of resources out there. Yeah. So, and what I was telling you, Simon, for sales is like, we really need to, I mean, having video call is really important now, and it becomes a big part of the selling process. And the benefits of having video call is like you really accelerate the sales process, right? So when I send a bomb video to someone, I feel like I'm really shortening the sales cycle, and I'm more likely to work faster with them, or list their boat faster. And I'm listing boat now, but I get that feedback from my clients. Like it really accelerate the sales process. So and again, and that's probably the 5th time I'm saying that today, familiarity bias, right? So I would really recommend to do that. So this is how we conclude this first day workshop. I think we're finishing even like 8 minutes earlier. So I know it's a lot, but again, remember, it's divided into 8 steps. We take a little break in between each steps. And I don't want you to say, oh, I have 4 hours of content. I want you to say, I have 4 times 30 to 40 minutes of content. And the day you have a problem with content, you're going to go to the step number 4 content. The day you have a problem with listing, you go to step number 3 listings. I don't want you guys to see this as a one training, but as 8 little trainings, right? And when you're going to have the replay, your day 1 will be the first step, and your day 2 will be the second 4 steps. Okay? So because the last thing that I want to do is overwhelm you guys. I'm not here to push information into your throat. I'm here to help you get results. Don't feel overwhelmed. You're going to have to step by step plan time for listing, plan time for content creation, plan time for mindset, plan time for personal branding. And during this time, you'll watch again this training and implement the strategies. Okay, so I want to thank you so much for this first day. It was very cool. I appreciate you guys. I know we have 5 of us and only 3 of you guys can do it live. So I really appreciate for you guys for showing up for the others and coming to the live session. So thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be the same thing. We're going to spend 4 hours together. Tomorrow, I might be 5. We're going to start 5 minutes late because I have a training from 8 to 9. And I cannot start. I mean, I told my clients I got to stop at 8:55, but I want to be in a good mental shape. I need a little 10-minute break before I start with you guys. So we're going to start at 9:05. Okay. So 9:05. So same time as today, a little bit 5 minutes after. And we'll get, I'm really excited for tomorrow. We've got some really good stuff tomorrow. I really love doing this training because I'm really passionate about those 8 individual steps. And tomorrow we got 4 awesome training that are coming. Okay, thank you so much, guys. I wish you a fabulous rest of your day. Go out there, make some sales, and we'll talk tomorrow. And I'll try to send the replay later tonight. It will take a while to upload. Talk soon. Ciao.